Chapter 12:26. Scram. Xia Ping said calmly. He looked at the Qian family's servant. Who does the Qian family think they are? How dare they put on an act in front of me and even ask me to give them face? Who is he? Do I know him? You even want me to give them face? I'm going to laugh my teeth off. This is an auction, a competition. Whether or not you can buy it depends on your own abilities. If you don't have money, don't pretend to be a big-headed Buddha here. Oh right, isn't the Qian family very impressive? You don't even have this bit of money. Did you do too many shady things and went bankrupt? If you really don't have money, if you beg me, I can lend it to your Qian family. He looked down at the Qian family's servant with disdain. The Qian family's servant was so angry that smoke came out of his nostrils. His entire body was trembling. Bastard, you actually dare to insult my Qian family like this? How dare you? He never dreamed that someone would dare to show such an attitude to the Qian family. The Qian family was used to acting like a tyrant in the nearby star regions. Other than the Qiankuan faction, they had never been afraid of anyone. Previously, he thought that he would be able to scare the other party into giving up on the auction. This was the power of the Qian family. However, he didn't expect that not only did the other party not give up, but he even mocked and ridiculed the Qian family. This almost infuriated him. Scram, don't be a hindrance here. You're embarrassing yourself. Xia Ping ordered the servant to leave. The Qian family's servant had no choice but to leave with his tail between his legs. After all, this was the vast ocean auction company. It wasn't a place where the Qian family could behave atrociously. Not long later, the servant returned to the VIP room where Qian Shan was. He recounted what had happened earlier with some embellishments. He paid special attention to Xia Ping's arrogant attitude and condescending expression. Boom! After hearing this, Qian Shan, who didn't show his emotions, immediately flew into a rage. He slammed his palm on the mahogany table in front of him, instantly shattering it into pieces. Even a crack appeared on the floor. One could imagine how angry he was now. The guards, servants, and maids were all trembling in fear. They were afraid that Qian Shan would vent his anger on them. If that happened, they would be in big trouble. Good fella, you actually dare to look down on my Qian clan. Qian Shan's eyes were filled with rage. This matter is definitely not over. I will let you know just how terrifying it is to offend my Qian family. There's no way you can leave planet Barker. His heart was aroused with killing intent, and all kinds of evil plans surged forth. Young master, what do we do now? Are we still going to bid? Someone asked. Qian Shan sneered, of course, if I back down here, what will the world think of my Qian family? They will think that I, Qian Shan, am afraid of this dragon. Who does this brat think he is? He dares to compete with my Qian clan in terms of wealth. My Qian clan doesn't have many things except for money. How can this brat compete with me, Qian Shan? Let's see if he has more money or if my Qian family has more money. He decided to fight Xia Ping to the end. At this moment, the elders of the other large sects also made their bids and joined in the bidding. In a short while, the price had reached 1.3 billion universe credits. Thinking of this, Qian Shan finally made his move and said, 1.5 billion universe dollars. He raised the price by 200 million. What? Many elders of the large sects and families were shocked. The Qian clan had finally made their move. No one knew better than them how powerful the Qian clan was. Once the Qian clan head, Qian Ba, had a substantial breakthrough, the Qian clan would probably become a sage clan. It could be said that in recent years, the Qian clan had become more and more domineering. Not many people dared to provoke them. I want the lightning fist. I hope that everyone can give my Qian clan some face. I will definitely repay you in the future. Qian Shan immediately said, of course, if anyone wants to continue bidding, Qian Shan, will also accompany you to the end. His tone revealed a deep chill, and it was obvious that there was a hint of threat. He meant that whoever dared to bid with him would be targeted by the Qian clan and become their enemy. As soon as this was said, the surrounding people fell silent. They dared to be angry, but they didn't dare to say anything. This was because the Qian clan's power was at its peak. Offending the Qian clan wasn't a rational decision. Most importantly, the Qian clan controlled planet Buck, a business planet. Their wealth was comparable to that of a country. If they really competed, they might not be able to win. If they didn't manage to buy the secret manual and offended the Qian clan, that would be the biggest disaster. Although the Green Bull sect and the other large sects weren't afraid of the Qian clan, offending the Qian clan for a Saint-Tier's secret manual wasn't a worthwhile thing. After all, although Saint-Tier's secret manuals were rare, every sect had some. They weren't considered particularly rare. Many people immediately decided to give up bidding to avoid offending the Qian clan. At this moment, Xia Ping shouted, "Give the Qian clan some face? Your Qian clan is so influential. Everyone gives you face. So what if I compete with you? If you have the guts, smash me to death with money. I bid 2 billion. He directly raised the price by 500 million, indicating that he was determined to get it. A mere Qian clan was nothing. Awesome. Who exactly is this kid? The Qian clan doesn't even care. If he isn't a hothead, then he's a big shot with a powerful background. In short, when the gods fight, the little ones suffer. We better not get involved. That's right. 2 billion universe credits is too much. Not to mention that it's not worth it. Even if it's worth it, we can't afford it. Look at these two dogs biting each other. Hearing Xia Ping suddenly raise the price to 2 billion universe credits, some elders of large sects originally wanted to bid. However, they all gave up now. This price was beyond their range. It was originally worth 100 million universe credits, but now it had directly risen to 2 billion. This was crazy. Bastard. Qian Shan's expression was incomparably sinister. Although he already knew that this kid didn't know how to appreciate favors, he didn't expect that this kid would dare to humiliate him in public. How could he endure such humiliation? 3 billion. Qian Shan immediately raised the price by 300 million. 4 billion. Admit defeat, pretty boy. Your Qian clan can't afford such an expensive secret manual. Why are you fighting with me? Xia Ping didn't show mercy with his words. Bullshit. What can my Qian clan not afford? Although I don't know which clan you're from, you're not qualified to fight with the Qian clan on Barker Planet. Qian Shan was infuriated. 5 billion. 6 billion. Xia Ping was indifferent as if this amount of money was not money at all. 7 billion. Qian Shan gritted his teeth. He stubbornly held on. No matter what, he couldn't back down here. 8 billion. Xia Ping still had an indifferent expression. Qian Shan roared, 9 billion. This was practically the lowest price he could afford. He was going all out now. If the other party continued to bid, he might really not be able to afford it and could only give up. After all, he wasn't the one in charge of the Qian clan. Taking out 9 billion was already his limit. Chapter 12:27. What? Once he said that, the surrounding people were stunned. This bastard was just pretending to fight to the death with Qian Shan, but at the crucial moment, he gave up. This was clearly a big scam for Qian Shan. Spending 9 billion universe dollars to buy a Saint-Tier's secret manual. If the Qian family elders knew about this, they would probably break their legs. Even if the Qian family was rich, they would still suffer a great loss this time. Qian Shan was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Although he won the auction, he was not happy at all. He only felt that he had suffered endless humiliation. The Saintier's secret manual was naturally a good treasure, but it cost $2.9 billion universe dollars, which was more than 20 times the auction price. No matter who it was, this was definitely a losing business. Of course, to the Cosmos Vast Seas Auction Company, this was a huge business. They had earned a huge sum of money, and it was beyond imagination. They were the biggest beneficiaries. This kid is our Universe Vast Ocean Auction Company's lucky star. Supervisor Tan Ming was on the altar. He stroked his white beard and was very proud of himself. This auction had a great harvest, and the profits were several times more than usual. It seemed that at the end of the year, he would definitely be rewarded by the head office and rise rapidly. Damn, he actually scammed Qian Shan. This kid is really daring. That's $2.9 billion universe dollars. Even the rich and overbearing Qian family would vomit blood this time. He angered Qian Shan. I'm afraid this kid won't have a good time. If he didn't have the backing of the Qian family, he might not even be able to walk out of Planet Buck. Hee hee, it's none of our business. But this time, we got to see a good show. Poor Qian Shan. He probably didn't even know that such a hothead would appear in this auction. Retribution. This is retribution for the Qian family's evil deeds in recent years. The surrounding people were discussing. They were gloating over Qian Shan's misfortune. Losing $2.9 billion universe dollars was not a loss that could be recovered in a short period of time. They didn't know what kind of punishment Qian Shan would receive after this auction. At this moment, some of Qian Shan's scoundrels added fuel to the fire, sending congratulatory messages. Congratulations, brother Qian Shan. Congratulations, brother Qian Shan. You've finally won the Saint-level secret manual, Lightning Fist. As expected of the Qian family. They are indeed rich and overbearing. They took out $2.9 billion just like that. I admire them. Isn't that right? This time, we've really slapped that dragon in the face. We've let him know the power of our Barker Planet's Qian family. A group of people congratulated him, a mocking look on their faces. Bitch, I'll never forgive him. Qian Shan's lungs almost exploded with rage, and he clenched his fists so tightly that his veins bulged. At this moment, he simply wished for nothing more than to tear Xia Ping's corpse into 1,000 pieces for daring to humiliate him. As a descendant of the Qian clan, when had he ever fallen into such a humiliating situation? This was a great humiliation. Investigate. Investigate his identity and background immediately. I want to see what kind of ability he has to fight with my Qian clan and make me, Qian Shan, suffer such a big loss. I want his entire clan to be buried with him. Qian Shan clenched his fists tightly, and a murderous aura surged out of him. If they found out that the brat came from a small clan, then they would definitely incur the wrath of the Qian clan. They would slaughter the brat's clan until nothing was left, and there would be no peace. He wanted to let the world know how terrifying the consequences of offending the Qian clan were. Yes, young master. A group of Qian clan servants lowered their heads and immediately left, wanting to investigate Xia Ping's identity and background. Alright, next is the item with the highest reserve price in this auction. No one cared about Qian Shan's current mood. At this moment, Supervisor Tan Ming continued with the auction. This is a super weapon system that is suitable to be used as a defense for one's lair. It's both offensive and defensive, and its power is boundless. It's comparable to a sex defensive formation. Its name is Skynet, and it's one of the most advanced crystallizations of human technology. This kind of auction item is very rare. If you miss this opportunity, you won't get another one. I hope everyone will seize this opportunity. This time, its reserve price is 5 billion. It's only 5 billion. It's equivalent to being sold at a discount. I hope everyone will bid enthusiastically. He tried his best to advertise that this was a very rare item. Unfortunately, there were very few people who responded. Even Qian Shan had no interest in this item. In terms of defense, the Qian clan's defense system on planet Barker was not inferior to Skynet, and its power was even more astonishing. The defensive formations of other large sects had also been continuously built for tens of thousands of years. Its power was boundless, and it was not something that Skynet could compare to. Other than large forces, individuals had even less need for it. People without a lair had no use for it. It was equivalent to buying a large super weapon that could not be moved after being fixed. Even though some small forces were very interested in Skynet, the price was too high. Even if they sold all of them, they would not be able to afford it. Just as Tan Ming thought that this item was going to be left unsold again, someone suddenly shouted loudly, $5 billion universe dollars. What? Everyone was shocked. They did not expect that someone would be so foolish as to buy this item. They immediately looked over. Damn, it was indeed another prodigal, a hedonistic young master. The person who shouted was obviously Xia Ping. Qian Shan was also shocked. He originally wanted to bid against Xia Ping, but after thinking about it carefully, this might be that bitch Xia Ping's trap. If he really bid and that bastard did not want it, wouldn't his face turn green then? He definitely could not fall for this evil thief's trap. He had a lingering fear about what had just happened. If he lost another $5 billion universe dollars, he was afraid that he would really become a sinner of the Qian family and would immediately be stripped of his identity as the heir of the Qian family. 5 billion going once, 5 billion going twice. Is there anyone else bidding? Okay, no one else. 5 billion going thrice. Congratulations to this gentleman, Skynet belongs to you now. Supervisor Tan Ming quickly announced the end of the auction. He did not even pant, as if he was afraid that Xia Ping would go back on his word. After all, it was rare to find such a sucker. Wait, what exactly is going on? Why is no one bidding? I just called out of habit. I'm not interested in buying this broken thing. Can I return it? Xia Ping shouted. He wanted to go back on his word. Sorry, items are sold and cannot be returned. Supervisor Tan Ming immediately refused. What a joke. If he returned it, wouldn't this thing rot in the hands of his company? Called out of habit. Everyone was gloating. Who asked this shit-stirrer to have such a cheap mouth, wanting to increase the auction price all day long? Harming others without benefiting yourself, doing all kinds of evil. Now look, not only did he not harm others, he also harmed himself. Finally, it was this scoundrel's turn to be unlucky. God has eyes. Damn, this bitch really wanted to trick me. Chapter 12:28. Ha, serves him right. This kid's mouth is cheap. Fuck, I can finally shut this kid's mouth. He's always thinking of harming people, but he never thought of doing a good deed. Let's see how much money he has after buying this useless Skynet system that costs 5 billion universe credits. That's great. Without this shit stick, we can finally auction in peace. This guy wants to return the goods. You'll die if you return the goods. He's blinded by lard. Hearing that Xia Ping had bought the Skynet system and spent 5 billion universe credits for no reason, the people at the scene were extremely pleased. They felt that God had eyes after all. He knew what it meant to punish the wicked and what it meant to have karma in the end. They felt that they could finally carry out a normal auction and buy some items at a normal price. What bad luck. In the VIP room, Xia Ping sighed to the sky, expressing his bad luck. Because of his cheap mouth, he had only bought such an item. He seemed to have suffered a terrible blow. However, he was secretly overjoyed. He could finally buy the Skynet system. Once the Skynet system was set up, the Cloud Continent would be safe and secure. Fortunately, his series of performances had scared many people. They thought he bought this item to cheat them, so nobody bid with him. He bought the weapon system at the lowest price, which was considered a great bargain. Of course, he still showed a pained expression on his face, expressing that he had suffered a great loss and regretted it. The auction was still going on, but Xia Ping did not speak anymore. He played the role of a spectator and watched the rare items being auctioned off by the bosses of the other sections. Without Xia Ping messing things up, these items were bought at a normal auction price. Ah, this is the first time I feel like I got a great bargain today. I'm in a good mood. Without someone messing things up, it's a lot better to buy things. Why isn't that bastard messing things up anymore? Wasn't he yelling earlier? What's he yelling for? He's already bought 5 billion universe credits worth of items. He's even sold his underwear. How is he going to auction with us? Fortunately, this guy has a cheap mouth. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to buy so many good things. The heavens have eyes. Evil people will get their retribution. Everyone was immensely pleased with themselves and felt extremely comfortable. Without Xia Ping causing trouble here, their order had become incomparably normal. They were also secretly glad that this fellow had bought the useless Skynet system. Otherwise, this fellow would still have 5 billion universe credits on him. At that time, he would have bought everything. After this, they probably wouldn't even have any leftovers to drink. Some of the elders from the large sects rejoiced as well. There was still a sacred artifact fragment to be auctioned next. If Xia Ping was still here, it would definitely lead to a bloodbath. Now that they had one less powerful competitor, they also had hope of obtaining this sacred artifact fragment. However, Xia Ping did not pay attention to the others. Anyway, he had already obtained the Skynet system, and the other treasures did not interest him for the time being, so he was not interested in staying in the VIP room. Sir, these are the items you are auctioning. Please check them. At that moment, Steward Bai Bei moved a large pile of items to Xia Ping's side. There were the star anise mysterious ice grass and blood sun iron from the previous auction, as well as many other treasures that he had obtained from the previous auction. Of course, the most important things were the mysterious bead and the Skynet system. These things cost Xia Ping a total of 5.3 billion universe credits. Fortunately, he had the universe bank to lend him. Otherwise, if he wanted to buy these things, he would have to wait for a very long time. This is the Skynet system. Xia Ping's eyes flashed, and he immediately saw a huge silver-white box on the ground. It was 1 meter long, 1 meter wide, and 1 meter tall. He did not know what material it was made of, but it looked very sci-fi. Yes, this is the Skynet system. Steward Bai Bei introduced. Don't be fooled by its small appearance, it actually contains a very large space inside. The space here is equivalent to a planet. In the space of this box, there are 108,000 small satellites. These satellites are all made with the top technology of mankind, and the material used is great white mystic gold. They are indestructible, and even star destroyers can't destroy them. Once these small satellites are released, they will fly quickly and cover hundreds of light years very quickly. These satellites can connect with each other and form a real Skynet system. He pointed at the silver-white box on the ground. Xia Ping probed it with his divine sense and indeed sensed that the silver-white box contained a huge space inside. There were many satellites hidden inside, slowly orbiting it. But how do I control the Skynet system? Xia Ping asked. The Skynet system has a brain core that can be set to the highest level of authority. Steward Bai Bei said in a deep voice, if you drip your blood in, the brain system will quickly record your DNA information, and you will be able to have the highest level of authority in this system. In addition, you can also set up level 2 or 3 levels of authority, and let others assist in the management of the Skynet system. They will be responsible for investigating and destroying enemies near the Skynet system. At this point, he paused for a moment. Of course, the most powerful thing about the Skynet system is that it uses the sun as its energy source. If its core is thrown into the depths of the sun, it will automatically devour the energy of the star. As long as the energy of the sun's star is not extinguished, the Skynet system will continue to operate and will never be exhausted. Even the core is in the depths of the sun, and no one except the sages can approach it. This also ensures the safety of the Skynet system. Hearing this, Xiaoping was secretly amazed. As expected of one of the highest technological crystallization of mankind. To actually use the sun as the power source to drive the system was really terrifying. In this way, he did not need to buy other things to power the Skynet system. However, these advantages were actually shortcomings for the majority of forces. After all, not every place had a star. If there was no sun, the Skynet system could not be activated. Without the sun as an eternal energy source, the Skynet system was just a pile of scrap metal. And once it was fixed, it could not be moved for a long time. Drip at this time, Xiaoping immediately dripped a drop of his blood into the brain core of the Skynet system. Immediately, he felt that he had formed a mental connection with the brain core of the Skynet system. Soon, a voice came, beep, fingerprint record, eye mask record, DNA record, Skynet system highest authority Xiaoping. The Skynet system is at your service. May I ask if you want to deploy the satellites and set up the Skynet system now? Xiaoping immediately refused, no need, stand by for now. Yes, Master, the Skynet system is on standby and will enter a dormant state. Chapter 1229. At this moment, on the spaceship. Because his main goal had been achieved, there was nothing left for him to buy. As such, Xiaoping directly left the auction site, took the items he had obtained, and quickly returned to the moon god ship. As for what happened at the auction site, it had nothing to do with him. Of course, the most important reason why Xiaoping returned so quickly was to figure out what this mysterious bead was. If he tried to probe it at the auction site, there would be too many people there. There might be an accident. Therefore, it was safer for him to return to the moon god. What is this bead? Returning to the moon god, Xiaoping immediately took out the black bead and placed it on the table. He looked at it carefully, but no matter how he looked, he couldn't see what it was. His divine sense penetrated the black bead, but no matter how he looked, it was just an ordinary magic treasure. There seemed to be nothing special about it. However, Xiaoping thought about it. If divine sense could see through this magic treasure so easily, then the universe vast ocean auction company, which had many experts, would have seen through the mystery of this bead. Golden Crow Hell Eye. Thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately activated his Golden Crow Hell Eye. Suddenly, a golden light shot out and penetrated the black bead. Immediately, densely packed lines appeared in the depths of his pupils. These were the formations within the black bead. They were complicated and profound to the extreme. They were unfathomably deep, and they were like numerous laws. However, these formations were now in a broken state. They were broken one by one. This was probably because they had suffered terrible damage in the past. Is this the core of the formation? Soon, Xiaoping saw the core of the black bead. It was a formation plate. There were countless ancient inscriptions engraved on it. It seemed to contain endless information. Drip subconsciously, he dripped a drop of his blood essence onto the black bead. Then, like a devouring beast, the black bead quickly swallowed the drop of blood that contained the power of the Golden Crow of Hell's bloodline. After a few seconds, Xiaoping felt that his mind and bloodline had an inexplicable connection with the black bead. Wait! Suddenly, Xiaoping felt that more than one drop of blood flowed out of his body. It seemed that this bead had a terrifying devouring power and was absorbing the power of his bloodline. 1 drop, 2 drops, 10 drops, 20 drops, 100 drops. Only when Xiaoping felt a trace of weakness in his body did the black bead stop absorbing blood. However, at this moment, it emitted bursts of green light, and the surrounding air began to fluctuate. The entire spaceship was bathed in this green fluctuation. Vaguely, there seemed to be a ripple in space. Under the observation of Xia Ping's infernal golden crow's eye, the array formation within the black bead seemed to have recovered after receiving the power of his bloodline. The lines of the array formation mended, turning into a complete array formation. What is this? Xia Ping's spiritual energy also poured into the interior of this black bead and found that this black bead had undergone a completely different change compared to before. Suddenly, a huge space appeared within it. In this space, a vast land appeared, and in the distance, there were also mountains that were thousands of meters high. They were boundless and had at least the surface area of Yanhuang planet. However, this space was extremely barren. There were ruins everywhere, the earth was dry, and there was a deathly stillness everywhere. It was like a doomsday world. This bead actually contains such a huge space inside, and it can even accommodate living creatures? Xia Ping was surprised. He did not expect this black bead to be so magical. Not only did it contain a unique spatial world, but it could also accommodate living creatures. This was many times better than ordinary spatial rings. After all, most spatial rings could only store dead objects and could not store living creatures. If a spatial magic weapon could store living creatures, its value would increase by at least 100 times, or even 1,000 times. Master, this bead is called the bead of mountains and rivers. At this moment, an old voice came out, and then the figure of a green ox appeared in front of Xia Ping. Its whole body exuded an inexplicable aura, which seemed to contain a divine light. Tool spirit. Corinne also immediately noticed the appearance of this green ox and recognized it as the tool spirit of this black bead. Yes, I am the tool spirit of the mountain and river pearl, named Mountain God. This green ox was incomparably proud. It looked at Xia Ping and said gratefully, "Thank you, Master, for providing divine power to assist the mountain and river pearl in restoring a trace of vitality." This old man was able to recover, otherwise, I don't know how long I would have to sleep. Mountain God? It's just a stupid ox, what are you boasting about? Corinne didn't know why, but he found this green ox very unpleasant to the eye and said with contempt. Who are you calling a stupid ox? You thieving cat, don't think that because you are small, I won't dare to beat you. The green ox cast a sidelong glance. Come, if you have the guts, you are amazing just because you are big. This old man has never been afraid of anyone in a duel. Corinne went crazy, showing a threatening appearance. Obviously, he was angered by the green ox's words. Bang bang bang. A cat and an ox fought on the spot, clawing and colliding. Both sides fought very fiercely. After dozens of moves, the two were gasping for breath, with bloody noses and swollen faces. It was too late for Xia Ping to stop them. In the end, both of them were lying on the ground, obviously unable to exert any strength. Damn it, it's really the case of an ox being bullied by a cat. If it wasn't because of a big battle that caused the sacred tool pearl of mountains and rivers to be damaged, this old man would have suppressed you with one hand. The green ox was panting. You used to be a sacred tool. Xia Ping blinked his eyes. That's right. The green ox had a proud look on his face. This old man used to be the life-bonded magic weapon of the Saint of Mountains and Rivers. I used countless precious materials to refine the sacred tool pearl of mountains and rivers. The space inside is infinite, forming a world of its own. In its heyday, inside the pearl of mountains and rivers, the master could control the flow of time and plant many sacred medicines in the universe. It could be called the first medicine garden in the universe. It can even be used as an offensive weapon. When it is operated at full strength, it is equivalent to a big world crashing into it. Anything that touches the pearl of mountains and rivers will be smashed into pieces. It boasted about its former glory. TCH. What's wrong with a sacred tool? It's not like I haven't seen a sacred tool. Even among the many sacred tools, you are just a mediocre piece of trash. Corinne disdainfully said, moreover, that was in the past. Now that you have been destroyed like this, you are just a broken pearl. How can you compare to me, a top intelligent life. What? Stupid cat, this old man will fight you. Corinne's words obviously poked the green ox's sore spot. Ignoring the pain in his body, he got up from the ground and fought Corinne to the death. Dong dong dong. Chapter 12:30. Under Xia Ping's inquiry, the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers only had one basic ability left, which was to store items. Moreover, the internal space of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers had shrunk by who knows how many times, leaving only a small area. In its heyday, it could even store several starfields. Sure enough, you are a good-for-nothing. What is the difference between a magic weapon like yours and a space ring? What is the use of you? Corinne struck back. Who said that it can only be used as a space ring? This old man can also use it as a stone to smash people. Moreover, because of the sacred tool material, no magic weapon can break it. It is indestructible. The green ox said with a guilty conscience. Then it is a round stone. Corinne concluded. The green ox frantically said, Nonsense, you are a round stone. If Master can provide a large number of sacred tool fragments and a large number of space stones, the damage to the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers can be quickly repaired. Even if there is 9 heaven-growing soil, the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers can also restore the vitality of a large world. At that time, it can be used as a medicine garden to grow all kinds of precious elixirs. Speaking up to here, it looked at Corinne and continued, in the universe, the most important thing is not talent, not family background, but resources. If there are enough resources, even a pig can cultivate to become an almighty expert. And if the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers is used properly, it can also have endless resources. At that time, the Saint of Mountains and Rivers possessed the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers and became a tycoon second to none, possessing endless resources. At that time, I don't know how many treasures he plundered, and his foundation is deep. It expressed that it had many uses and was definitely not just a round stone. TCH, you still want to provide a large number of sacred tool fragments and space stones, and also want to get 9 heaven-growing soil. Sure enough, it is a large resource consumer. It is better to throw it away. Corinne suggested, no, throwing it away is still too wasteful. Let the golden slime devour and digest it. In any case, it is also a sacred tool fragment, and it can be considered as recycling waste. Stupid cat, this old man will fight it out with you. The green ox was driven mad. This stupid cat was really too infuriating. It was innately incompatible with him. Okay, Corinne, don't make it angry. Xia Ping stopped the two from continuing to fight. He looked at the green ox. Other than that, what other use do you have? The green ox thought about it and said, I also have a cultivation technique from the Mountain River Saint. It's a wood elemental sacred cultivation technique called the Azure the Arch Longevity Technique. If I cultivate this cultivation technique, I can condense the Azure the Arch body, which is a wood elemental sacred body. Once I condense the Azure the Arch body, I will become the ruler of the wood element. The dermic powers in my body will be endless, and I will have invincible battle prowess that can suppress an era. Furthermore, the Azure the Arch physique has natural benefits for cultivating spirit herbs and other plants. It has a bonus effect, and it can also make one an alchemy grandmaster and become a guest of the major forces. The Azure the Arch longevity art? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. Although he also had some saint-tier cultivation techniques on him, no one would complain about having too many saint-tier cultivation techniques. Clearly, this cultivation technique was also extraordinary. However, it is not easy to successfully cultivate the Azure the Arch longevity art. First, you need to have a transcendent understanding of the power of the wood element. If you ignore your aptitude, you will not succeed at all. At this point, the green ox looked at Xia Ping with a little embarrassment. But I see that Master seems to have condensed an extraordinary body of flames, which contains a terrifying power of the sun. It is a sacred body in itself. If you still want to successfully cultivate the Azure the Arch longevity art, it is basically impossible. It could see that Xia Ping's body contained a terrifying energy. He was only in the divine power realm, but he had such terrifying dermic powers and bloodline power. Obviously, he must be a peerless monster in the universe, and there was even a trace of divinity in his blood. In fact, if it was not for the power of Xia Ping's bloodline being too terrifying, it would not have awakened from its deep sleep, and even absorbed a large amount of soul energy to restore it to the level of awakening. There had been many cultivators who had obtained this black pearl, but these people had been unable to awaken it as the artifact spirit of the mountain river pearl. One could imagine how powerful Xia Ping was. However, the more powerful this kind of physique was, the more domineering and exclusive it represented. It would eliminate everything and smelt all other powers. It's okay, tell me. Whether or not I can cultivate it is another matter. Xia Ping waved his hand. He did not care about this. After all, he had to get this saint-level cultivation method first. Even if he could not cultivate it when the time came, it would not be a pity. Okay. Since Xia Ping had said so, the green ox had no reason to refuse. After all, Xia Ping was now the owner of the Mountain River Pearl, and the restoration of the Mountain River Pearl required Xia Ping's help. It was also its duty to tell others about this cultivation method. Immediately, it imbued a vast amount of information into Xia Ping's mind. This is the Azure the Arch longevity art. Soon, Xia Ping closed his eyes. He felt ancient scriptures appear in the depths of his mind, which seemed to contain the power of the Great Path and a vast amount of life force. Vaguely, there seemed to be a green lotus in his mind, standing in the void, controlling the life force of all things. It swayed gently as if it was the master of all things. At the same time, the sapling of the world tree in the depths of his mind also trembled. It seemed to be triggered by the aura of the Azure the Arch longevity art, and wisps of wood element aura spread out. In an instant, with his body as the center, it seemed to have formed a wood element domain, with the revival of spring, the growth of all things, and the vitality of life. The world tree trembled, and countless roots extended, penetrating into every meridian in Xia Ping's body. It seemed that these roots and meridians had become one, and every pore was like a giant beast, absorbing the wood element energy of heaven and earth. With the help of the world tree, Xia Ping immediately felt that he had a deep understanding of the Azure the Arch longevity art, as if this was a cultivation method engraved in the depths of his genes. Like breathing, it caused the seal of the great path of the world tree to tremble. Rumble immediately, a strange phenomenon appeared behind Xia Ping. The shadow of the world tree stretched across the void, and its roots extended to every corner of the universe, absorbing the life force everywhere in the universe. Even the fire of life in his body burned, and a cluster of green flames transformed into a green lotus, floating above his head, filled with rich life force. Seeing this, Corinne immediately activated the defense system of the moon god, enveloping this phenomenon so that no one outside could discover it. Otherwise, it would definitely cause a huge uproar. Meanwhile, the green ox was stunned, and he was simply dumbfounded. Oh my god, the world tree, the fire of life. Master, you have such a treasure on you, and you can also do this. This is too exaggerated, a little too much. Chapter 1231. Even though the green ox had followed the mountain river saint for countless years and was once a divine tool, it was still stunned by Xia Ping's cultivation scene. Stunned was not enough to describe its current shock. Ordinary people who wanted to cultivate the youthful the arch longevity technique had to absorb spirit herbs and have a body that was suitable for wood-type cultivation techniques. Only then would they have a chance of successfully cultivating this saint-level cultivation technique. But now, Xia Ping had a rare tree like the world tree, which could be said to be the ancestor of all wood. The wood-type energy contained in it was unimaginable, and its grade was boundlessly high. After all, even the mountain river saint had never seen a rare tree like the world tree and thought that it had disappeared long ago. The most outrageous thing was that he had the flame of life in his body. This was a heavenly flame that countless cultivators who practiced would attribute cultivation methods dreamed of. Once they obtained it, their body would have an endless life force, and their cultivation would be twice the result with half the effort. Back then, the mountain river saint wanted to find the flame of life and searched everywhere in the universe, but he could not find it. Because to obtain this kind of flame of life, one needed luck, and it could disturb heaven's secrets and move everywhere. Even a saint would need a lot of luck to obtain it. But now, the two divine tools that all wood-type cultivators dreamed of were in the hands of its master. Even though the green ox was once a divine tool, it was still shocked by this scene. After all, if it was at its peak, even if it was a divine tool, it could not compare to the world tree and the flame of life. This is a monster who is born to cultivate the youthful Darch longevity technique. The green ox was shocked. It did not even know what to say. At this moment, it felt that the mountain river pearl falling into the hands of its master was perhaps, a kind of arrangement, fate. Rumble at this moment, Xia Ping was continuously cultivating the youthful Darch longevity technique. With the help of the aura of the world tree, he felt that this aura seemed to be all-encompassing, containing the spirit chi of countless spirit herbs and plants in the world. This aura was vast, like a long river, and it all gathered in the depths of Xia Ping's spiritual energy. He felt that his spiritual energy now seemed to be filled with the aura of thousands of spirit herbs, spiritual trees, spiritual grasses, and so on. It was also full of vitality, as if all things were reviving. These auras converged together and surged into his limbs and bones, entering every meridian and even every blood vessel in his body, causing his body to become completely woody. It was as if thousands of trees were growing in his body at the same time. If someone were to see Xia Ping's current cultivation, they would definitely be shocked to the extreme. That was because there were wooden veins appearing on his skin, just like the skin of a tree. Now, he looked like a towering tree that had grown for thousands of years. Dong! Not knowing how much time had passed, Xia Ping's body suddenly shook, and the magic power in his body suddenly underwent a huge change, and all of a sudden, it merged with the wood spirit chi as one. His Dharma power seemed to have gained a hint of noble yellow aura. This was the Dharma power condensed by the Azure Thearka's longevity art. It contained incredible power. The quality of this magic power was extremely high. This was the magic power of the Azure Emperor, the Emperor of all wood. It had the ability to suppress all wood element spiritual energy in the world. This was the cultivation method of the Great Emperor, and it was incomparably tyrannical. What a powerful Azure Darch longevity art! Xia Ping opened his eyes, revealing a green light. It was as if there was a small tree living in the depths of his eyes. It was green and full of vitality, and there were green runes spinning around it. With the help of the world tree and the flame of life, he quickly condensed the Azure Darch longevity art and successfully condensed the Azure Darch body, reaching the initial stage. Once the condensation was successful, he truly felt the power of the Azure Darch body. The most powerful thing about the Azure Darch body was its terrifying life force. After the condensation, his lifespan was doubled. It seemed that the aging of the cells in his body had slowed down by several times, and his body was full of life force. Moreover, the recovery of injuries was also several times faster than before. If his body had not been instantly turned into ashes, the injuries on his body could quickly recover by devouring the life force of the plants. This kind of power was comparable to the heart of the golden crow of hell. In addition, the Azure Darch body could also control the plants in the sky and on the ground. Controlling the growth of the plants also greatly increased the power of the flame of life. The two seemed to complement each other. If Xia Ping planted spirit wood, spirit medicine, and other plants now, he would definitely get twice the result with half the effort. My magic power has also increased a lot. After successfully cultivating the Azure Darch longevity art, Xia Ping felt that the magic power in his body had also increased a lot. He was about to reach the peak of the early stage of the divine power realm, saving several years of cultivation time. There were many benefits. As expected of the master, He is too strong. He actually succeeded in cultivating the Azure the Arch longevity art so quickly. This is unbelievable. The green ox was amazed. Everything that happened was beyond his imagination. Ignorant stupid ox. Seeing the green ox's frightened look, Corinne was in a good mood. Finally, he was not the only one scared by this monster. Xia Ping had been cultivating. On the other hand, a few hours later, the auction was over. The last item, the divine relic shard, was fought over by many elders of large sects and families. The price kept rising, but in the end, it was still won by Qian Shan for 2 billion universe credits. Even though he spent 2.9 billion universe credits to buy the lightning fist, the Qian family still had the money to fight for the divine relic shard. One could imagine how rich the Qian family was. Even so, Qian Shan was not happy. He was furious, and his killing intent was boiling. Did you find out where that kid came from? I want to exterminate his entire family. Qian Shan clenched his fists. His chest was filled with hatred for Xia Ping. He wanted to kill him as soon as possible. He stared at a few of his elite subordinates. These subordinates had received his order to quickly investigate Xia Ping's background. Young master, we wanted to track his whereabouts, but the kid's confidentiality level is too high. He is also a VIP of the Universe Bank. There is no news in a short period of time. It will take another 3 days to find out his true identity, one of the subordinates said. But now we know that the kid is staying in the port. It seems that he has no plans to leave planet Barker. We don't know what he is planning. How dare he? Is he showing off to me, Qian Shan? Is he looking down on the Qian family? He offended the Qian family, and instead of running away, he dares to stay here. He wants to die. Hearing this, Qian Shan was even more furious. Young master, it's better not to be impulsive. I think it's better to find out his identity first to avoid getting into big trouble. One of the subordinates felt that it was better to find out his identity first before making a decision. Shut up. With a bang, Qian Shan slapped the subordinate, sending him flying and smashing him into the wall. Does the Qian family need to be afraid of a small fry like him? In the 6 major star fields, apart from the Qiankuan faction, who else can be taken seriously by the Qian family? I don't care who he is or what his background is. Offending me, Qian Shan, means death. Death means death. Understand? Many of the subordinates were trembling. Chapter 1232. 1 day later. Phew. Xia Ping sat cross-legged and took a deep breath. After a day of consolidation cultivation, he had consolidated the strength of his cultivation of the Azure the Arch longevity technique and mastered the Azure the Arch body. At the same time, the spiritual power in his body was also a lot stronger than yesterday. It was estimated that it would not be long before he had the chance to break through to the middle stage of the divine power realm. The auction is over. Seeing that Xia Ping had ended his cultivation state, Corinne told Xia Ping what happened at the auction, and at this moment, the spirit of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers was resting. After all, it had just woken up and was still in a state of serious injury, so it couldn't come out for too long. What was the result? Xia Ping asked curiously. Corinne said that after Xia Ping left, the auction was still going on fiercely. The holy artifact fragment was undoubtedly the remaining finale item, which was coveted by countless cultivators. After a fierce competition, countless sect elders took action, but in the end, it was bought by Qian Shan for 2 billion universe dollars, which was enough to prove the wealth of the Qian family. It was actually Qian Shan who got it. This Qian family is really rich. Xia Ping sighed. This was the foundation of a big family, casually taking out billions of universe dollars without blinking. However, only this kind of family with 10,000 years of history could do it. Ordinary families still couldn't have such a strong foundation. At this time, the system also said, "Congratulations to the host, this time you got a total of 300 million hatred points." Currently, the host has a total of 700 million hatred points. I hope you can continue to work hard. 300 million hatred points. Xia Ping touched his chin. He knew that his actions were really effective. Although 300 million hatred points was not too big, no matter how small a mosquito was, it still had a piece of meat. After accumulating over time, he believed that he could get more and more hatred points. After careful calculation, he had gained a lot this time. Not only did he buy the Skynet system, the former holy artifact Pearl of Mountains and Rivers, but he also got 300 million hatred points, which was a big profit. If others knew about his harvest, they would definitely die of anger. Host, please note, someone has developed killing intent towards the host and may take revenge. The system prompt came again. Revenge? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes, and a stream of information quickly poured into his mind from the system. Immediately, he found out from the system information that the person who wanted to take revenge on him was Qian Shan. Qian Shan was a vile person who would seek revenge for the smallest grievance. This kind of vile person did not have the concept that a gentleman's revenge was never too late. A vile person's revenge was always on the line. The other party seemed to have already prepared all kinds of evil plans. They had mobilized a large number of troops to prevent him from leaving Barker Planet. They wanted to destroy him and take revenge for what they had done to him. With the Qian family's influence on Barker Planet, he had the ability to do this. Xia Ping, a lot of Barker Planet's police have suddenly appeared around the moon god. The situation doesn't look good. At this time, Corinne reminded. He turned on the virtual projection and immediately saw that the moon god was surrounded by thousands of Barker Planet's police officers. Moreover, these policemen all had powerful auras and held laser guns in their hands. Their cultivation was at least above the fulfillment realm, and there were even quite a few divine ability realm cultivators. He came so quickly. Interesting. Let's go down and have a look. I want to see what Qian Shan is up to. Xia Ping's eyes flashed with a cold light. He walked out of the flying ship and came to an open space in front of the flying ship. He glanced at the surrounding police officers. What do you want? We suspect that you are related to a smuggling case on Barker Planet. Please follow us to the police station immediately to assist in the investigation. If you dare to disobey our orders, you will be killed immediately. A police captain walked up. His eyes revealed a fierce and sinister look. He looked at Xia Ping as if he was looking at a dead man. It seemed that as long as Xia Ping did anything wrong, he would immediately kill him without hesitation, leaving nothing behind. Smuggling case? Are you guys mistaken? I am a VIP of the Universe Bank. I have a net worth of hundreds of millions. Moreover, I am a newcomer to Barker Planet. How could I be related to a smuggling case? Xia Ping said indifferently. Shut up. The police captain snorted coldly. Whether you are guilty or not, it is up to the Barker Planet's police to investigate. You are not guilty. Don't talk nonsense here. Are you trying to break the law and attack the police by saying so much? Immediately, the surrounding police officers all pointed their laser guns at Xia Ping. It seemed like if Xia Ping did anything rash, they would not mind shooting him on the spot. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes and said, "All right, then what do you want? First, follow us back to the police station and record your statement. If there is nothing wrong with you, then we will naturally release you," the police captain said. His tone was slightly gentler. After all, the other party was a VIP of the Universe Bank. He might also have a powerful background. Although he was working for Qian Shan, if things got out of hand here, it would not be a good thing for him. It was better to trick this kid into leaving this place first. When he came to their territory, wouldn't they be able to do whatever they wanted to him? All right, I can go with you to the police station. However, I think I have a clean background. I have never done anything that violates the law. If you can't find out the truth, I am afraid you will have to give me an explanation. Xia Ping was murderous. Let's go to the police station first. The police captain felt Xia Ping's murderous aura and could not help but tremble. However, when he remembered that his backer was the direct descendant of the Qian family, Qian Shan, he immediately became more courageous. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Soon, Xia Ping was surrounded by many police officers. He got into a police car and quickly left the spaceship. Obviously, this scene was also noticed by the others. This is the kid who caused trouble at the auction yesterday. He was actually taken away by the police. Could it be that something happened? I heard that he was involved in a smuggling case and was taken away to assist in the investigation. Bullshit. He is a VIP of the Universe Bank with a net worth of over 10 billion universe dollars. How could he have anything to do with a smuggling case? Without a doubt, this matter must have been done by the Qian family's young master. This kid is finished. He offended the Qian family's young master on Planet Buck. Even if he had a few lives, it would not be enough to kill him. Once he enters the police station, this kid will definitely die. I hope the family behind this kid is capable and arrives in time. Otherwise, he will definitely be played to death by Qian Shan. However, Qian Shan is really domineering. According to his performance at the auction, this kid is rich and overbearing. He must be from a large family. He actually dared to kill such a person in front of everyone. Isn't he afraid of bringing disaster to the Qian family? What is he afraid of? The Qian family is a local tyrant. Even a ferocious dragon has to bow down before them. In the 6 major star regions, apart from the Qiankuan sect, they have never been afraid of anyone. Indeed. In recent years, the Qian family has been like the sun in the sky. Chapter 1233. Not long after, the police car with Xia Ping turned left and right and quickly left the city. They arrived at a deserted warehouse in the outskirts of the city. This doesn't look like a police station. Where have you brought me? Xia Ping got out of the police car. He looked around and realized that he wasn't in a police station. Instead, he was in a warehouse in the outskirts. There was no one around. They were already hundreds of miles away from Barker City. But he wasn't afraid at all. He still looked calmly at the police captain who had brought him here. Of course, this isn't a police station. We didn't bring you here for the smuggling case. You should know this very well. The police captain looked at Xia Ping with a cold face. But you knew this on the way, but you didn't run away. Should I say that you have a card up your sleeve or that you are brainless? He felt that Xia Ping's calm expression was very strange. If a normal person encountered something like this, they would have been scared out of their wits. They would have run away while crying. But Xia Ping was different. He was too calm and collected. Everything he did was within the other's expectations and in line with the other's intentions. This made the police captain uneasy. He wondered if he had gotten involved in a fight between 2 powerful factions. But it was no longer up to him. After all, he didn't dare disobey Qian Shan's orders. He just hoped that the 2 elephants wouldn't hurt him when they fought. Xia Ping didn't intend to answer him. He looked at the police captain and said, "Where's Qian Shan? Where's that bitch Qian Shan? He didn't call you here to die, did he, bitch my ass? You're about to die, and you're still trying to talk." Someone shouted. Just then, a group of people walked out of the warehouse. The person in the lead was Qian Shan. There were 20 or 30 people behind him. They were all his guards. These guards were also very strong. They were at least at the peak of the mystic realm. There were also 2 or 3 middle-aged men who had reached the treasure refining realm. There was a huge difference between the treasure refining realm and the mystic realm. Once a person reached the treasure refining realm, they could turn their mana into a formation and merge it into their body. Their lifespan would increase dramatically. They could also sense the formations in the world and use the power of the world. Their combat ability was many times stronger than that of the mystic realm. One could only use the power of their own divine abilities, but the treasure-refining realm could use the power of heaven and earth. The difference was indescribable. It was precisely because the treasure refinement realm allowed one to comprehend the array of heaven and earth, fusing the array into one's dharmic powers, and comprehending the realm of heaven and man as one, allowing one to control the power of heaven and earth at will. That was why one could easily refine all kinds of powerful treasures. Compared to the divine realm, the treasure refinement realm was a qualitative change. The Qian family had stronger experts, but Qian Shan was only a divine tier mid-stage cultivator. Even if he was a direct descendant of the Qian family, he didn't have the power to recruit more powerful experts. After all, the Qian clan had more important things to do with this level of combat strength. They wouldn't waste it on a hedonistic son. Having a treasure-refining realm cultivator as a lackey was already a great honor for Qian Shan. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes as he watched Qian Shan and the rest walking towards him. He was not afraid at all. Why did you bring so many people here? Do you want to kill me? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows, and a cold glint appeared in his eyes. You should know that I'm also someone with a powerful background. Aren't you afraid of causing trouble for the Qian clan? Are you afraid, kid? Qian Shan sneered. You regret offending me at the auction, right? Do you think it's useful to bring up the big shot behind you now? In this world, the Qian clan has never been afraid of anyone. After a while, my father Qian Ba will step into the sage realm, and the Qian clan will become a sage clan. Although I don't know what kind of background your clan has, the Qian clan isn't afraid. So what if you seek revenge? Can you destroy the Qian clan? He was full of murderous intent. Clearly, domineering was ingrained in his bones. Although he hadn't found out Xia Ping's identity, Qian Shan was used to acting like a tyrant on planet Barker. He thought that with a Thunder Retribution Realm father protecting him, he could go anywhere in the world. Moreover, this was planet Barker, the Qian clan's lair. If anything happened, his father wouldn't be able to handle it. Therefore, he didn't care about Xia Ping's background. In short, he would kill him first. What was done was done. Even if the Qian clan was furious, they could just pay some money. Would the Qian clan dare to risk a war with the entire clan and fight to the death with the Qian clan? Since he dared to do such a thing, he was prepared to fall out with Xia Ping. I see. Seems like you're determined to die. The Qian clan should be destroyed for producing an idiot like you. Xia Ping said indifferently, sentencing the Qian clan to death. Bullshit. Qian Shan sneered. Don't you know who has the upper hand now? I have hundreds of subordinates here, 3 treasure refining realm cultivators, and dozens of transcendent realm cultivators. They can drown you just by spitting on you. Feng San, go and break his limbs. Remember, don't kill him. I want to capture him and torture him slowly. A trace of cruelty appeared in his eyes. He wanted to slowly torture Xia Ping. Don't worry, young master. I'll kill him now. Suddenly, a gray-clothed middle-aged man holding a broadsword walked up. He was an early-stage treasure refining realm cultivator. As he walked, the earth trembled. It was as if the power of the entire world was under his control. This black broadsword was not simple either. It was a low-grade spiritual item. The black light broadsword was extremely sharp. Even the mica steel shell of the spaceship could be easily cut in half. At this moment, this black broadsword was held in the gray-clothed middle-aged man's hand. It stimulated endless blade chi and killing intent. It was as if a blade demon had walked out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. Everyone around seemed to be hallucinating. Even if the gray-clothed man, Feng San, didn't move, this black evil blade chi seemed like it was going to split their souls. Dragon Trapping Pillar. At this moment, Xia Ping made his move. With a wave of his hand, golden pillars flew out in 5 different directions, covering a radius of 10 kilometers in an instant. Rumble, these 5 golden pillars stood in 5 different directions, instantly forming a huge energy shield. It shrouded everyone like an eggshell. What? Immediately, Qian Shan and the others were shocked. They didn't expect something like this to happen. They clearly felt that this treasure seemed to contain a terrifying power of territory. Now that it was used, it was as if they were in an independent space. The cultivation of the treasure refining realm cultivators dropped rapidly, suppressed to the range of the transcendent realm. Chapter 1234. What kind of treasure is this? It can suppress our cultivation. The artifact refinement realm cultivator Feng San and the others were shocked, their eyes flickering. This was the first time they had encountered such a mystical treasure, and their martial realm rapidly fell to the transcendent realm. Not a bad treasure. Qian Shan licked his lips, his eyes filled with cruelty. It's just a supreme treasure. It hasn't even nurtured a spirit, yet it can display the equalization domain. How mysterious. If it nurtures, it might become a spiritual or even a high-tier one. Is this what you're relying on? He greedily stared at the treasures on Xia Ping. If he killed Xia Ping this time, then all the treasures Xia Ping got from the auction would be his. Other than that, he could also get his hands on many treasures. After all, Xia Ping was from a big clan. He must have many secret treasures on him. And these things would soon belong to him, Qian Shan. However, no matter how wondrous this treasure may be, capable of suppressing our cultivation bases, it is still just a peerless prized artifact. It cannot level up to the spirit tier. Thus, its power is not that great. At best, it can suppress us for a quarter of an hour. Qian Shan looked at Xia Ping in disdain. You want to escape with just a quarter of an hour? That's impossible. Surrender now. You have no chance. He didn't care about Xia Ping's petty tricks at all. The other Qian clan subordinates, including the few refinement level cultivators, did the same. So what if they suppressed their cultivation to the same level? They had the advantage in numbers and could easily kill this kid. Plus, they had trained for hundreds or even thousands of years. They had experienced countless battles and had rich combat experience. Even if they were on the same level, they could easily defeat their opponents. In other words, this kid was doing useless things. Escape to the heavens? There's no need, because you're all going to die here today. Horrifying qi surged from Xia Ping's body. Behind him, a bird appeared. It was the golden crow of hell. It flew across the universe, shining with golden light and piercing through the void. The Qian clan's servants immediately felt like they were carrying a mountain on their backs. Like the monkey sun, they were almost pressed to the ground. Even the ground seemed to be unable to withstand this terrifying gravity and immediately shattered. Dozens of cracks appeared and extended for thousands of meters, emitting cracking sounds. What? With a bang, Qian Shan knelt on the ground with both knees pressed heavily against the ground. Every single bone in his body was shattered and densely packed cracks appeared on his body. Intense pain surged through his body. He was inexplicably shocked. After all, he was a divine-tier mid-stage cultivator and a direct descendant of the Qian family. Not only did he cultivate a saint-tier technique, but he also frequently consumed all sorts of precious spirit medicines. His battle prowess wasn't invincible among his peers, but it was hard to find a worthy opponent. But facing this pressure, he actually couldn't withstand it and was directly pressed to the ground, kneeling in front of this brat as if he was kowtowing to his ancestor. He suffered great humiliation. Kill him. Immediately kill this brat and tear his corpse into 10,000 pieces. Qian Shan roared. He did not want this brat to live any longer. He wanted to destroy his human Tao immediately. Only then would the hatred in his heart disappear. Kill. Hearing this, the treasure tier cultivator Feng San immediately acted because he also felt great danger from Xia Ping's physique. It seemed that if this continued, they would definitely die. Holding the inferior tier spirit weapon, Black Light Blade, he attacked Xia Ping. Martial Path Mystique, 1,000 Blades. In an instant, thousands of layers of black blade chi erupted from Feng San's body, interweaving into an inescapable net. It immediately enveloped Xia Ping and rapidly contracted. Once the inescapable net finished contracting, Xia Ping, who was in the center, would definitely be cut into pieces. Once Feng San used this martial path mystique, 1,000 blades, with just one move, he covered a small town with a population of 100,000 and slaughtered it instantly, leaving no one alive. However, this move was nothing to Xia Ping. Xia Ping suddenly punched out, like the roar of a golden crow from hell, a punch that blasted out from the depths of the endless hell. It contained scorching flames that wanted to burn everything in the world to ashes. Dong! With just a single strike, the inescapable net instantly collapsed and was burnt to ashes by the terrifying flames, completely disintegrating. Even the fist force was transmitted to Feng San's body. How can this be? How can his power be so terrifying? Feng San originally underestimated Xia Ping, thinking that with just one move, he could cut this disciple of a big family into countless pieces and kill him instantly. But the battle situation changed too quickly. The other party only needed one punch to defeat his martial path mystique, 1,000 blades. Even the punch penetrated the void and directly reached his body. Boom! Immediately, Feng San could not resist the punch and was hit in the chest by the punch. Even though he was a treasure refining realm cultivator, he had smelted the formation of heaven and earth into his spiritual power and had a strong vitality. But being hit by this punch still made him inexplicably horrified, because it contained the power of the mystical flame. Once it entered his lungs, it immediately spread everywhere, using spiritual power as fuel, and his whole body was burning. Ah ah ah! Feng San could not help but let out a shrill scream. It was more painful than being kicked in the balls. Chapter 1235. What is this? The two treasure refining realm cultivators were shocked. Looking at the shadow of the world tree, they felt like they were looking at something indescribable. It was as if they were looking at the origin of the universe and the end of chaos. Their blood was boiling. The memories deep in their souls seemed to have awakened. They were so scared that they almost fainted. No, we can't continue like this. Otherwise, we'll have a mental breakdown. Do it, don't be scared by this kid. Kill him. They were treasure refining realm cultivators, after all. They bit their tongues and relied on the intense pain to wake up from the mental pressure and began to fight back. One of them used a sword. His body was filled with sword intent. He attacked instantly. Sword chi was like silk and the sound of the sword was like thunder. It attacked Xia Ping with the power to destroy ghosts and gods. The other used a hammer. Like an ancient giant, all the muscles on his body swelled up. His body grew to 5 meters tall. When he swung his hammer, everything within miles seemed to turn into a vacuum. All the air was pushed out. Two powerful cultivators attacked at the same time. This kind of power shocked everyone. Even though they were suppressed to the god realm, this kind of combat power was not something normal cultivators could compare to. Get lost. Xia Ping didn't even look at it. He charged forward and activated the Azure the Arch body. His body was wrapped in a layer of green light, and there were countless green talismans flowing on it. It was like the light of the world tree, reaching the realm of invulnerability. Many tree rings appeared on his skin, making him look like the skin of a towering tree. Every mark contained the power of the wood element. Dong! With just one attack, the two treasure refining realm cultivators' attacks collapsed. Their yuan qi collapsed, disintegrating inch by inch. A terrifying power rushed over like a flood. What a terrifying physical strength. How can he be this powerful? Saint body, this is definitely a saint body. Otherwise, how could we be like this with just one attack? The two treasure refining realm cultivators were shocked. Their opponent's physical strength was too terrifying. It was like a treasure that had been tempered thousands of times. Normal power could not penetrate his skin at all. Even with just a light attack, they immediately felt their blood boil and their organs hurt. Even though they had already ascended to the treasure refining realm, their physical strength was not unparalleled. If they were to fight head-on, they were no match for the young man in front of them. He possesses a cultivation technique that allows him to condense a divine body, as well as this kind of talent. He is definitely not an ordinary person. This time, we kicked an iron plate. We shouldn't have gotten involved in this. At this moment, they finally knew exactly how terrifying of a figure they had offended. With such a character, how could he not be from an ordinary family? How could a mere Qian family compare to him? Perhaps the other party came from a sage family and had a powerful backer. It would be as easy as flipping his hand for such a character to crush them. If they had known this earlier, they would not have gotten involved in this mess. However, it was too late for regrets now. In the blink of an eye, Xia Ping made his move. With a light tap of his finger, terrifying wood elemental powers burst forth. Countless green godly needles appeared in the air. This was the power of the Azure the Arch longevity art. Dong! This power was extremely fast. It tore through the air and instantly blasted into the bodies of the two treasure refining realm cultivators. Not good. The two of them screamed. They felt a strange power seeping into their bodies. It was as if a seed had sprouted inside them and was absorbing the power of their flesh. But before the two of them could think of anything, the two green magic powers instantly swelled up and turned into two huge trees. They grew out of their bodies and split their bodies into pieces in an instant. Arg! The two of them screamed in pain. In the next second, they died a violent death, turning into meat paste. Their blood covered the ground, and the smell of blood was extremely heavy. How could this be? Qian Shan couldn't believe his eyes. He'd spent a lot of effort to find 3 treasure refinement experts to be his bodyguards. It should have been easy for 3 treasure refinement realm cultivators to kill a divine realm cultivator. But now, 3 of his powerful subordinates had been killed. He thought he was dreaming. But seeing Xia Ping approaching him, he came to his senses and shouted, "Everyone, attack together. Kill him. Kill him now. After this is done, I will reward you greatly." He frantically ordered his hundreds of subordinates, including the policemen from before. Whoosh! 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 His subordinates came to their senses. They knew that if they did not kill Xia Ping, they would not be able to live. They surrounded him and unleashed their divine abilities. Dozens of divine realm cultivators and other cultivators exploded with power at the same time. Once hit, even if they did not die, they would be heavily injured. Fall, stars. Xia Ping used the star guide incantation. Countless pores on his body breathed in the power of the stars. 360 stars appeared in the acupoints of his body, dancing like stars. The entire sky seemed to have fallen into darkness, turning into a night sky. Stars filled the starry sky. At the same time, a terrifying gravity was produced in the area. Boom! In the next second, huge meteorites formed from magic fell from the sky. They streaked across the sky, burning with flames, and smashed toward the crowd. These meteorites were heavy and simple. Chapter 1236. This command to stop seemed to contain the voice of the Tao, and it instantly spread throughout the entire planet. Waves of mysterious tremors came from the air, and countless experts were aware of it. Especially the elders of the Fierce Tiger sect, the Black Rhino sect, the River sect, the Yellow River sect, and the Green Bull sect, who hadn't left Planet Buck. they also heard this shout. They instantly woke up. Whether they were in closed-door training, talking, or comprehending the Tao, they all woke up one after another. Every one of them looked like they were facing a great enemy. What's going on? Why does this voice sound so much like old Qian? Did someone make old Qian angry? The fierce tiger sect elder was very confused. He was very familiar with this wave of mana. It was clearly the power of the Qian family's head, Qian Ba. On the entire planet Buck, apart from Qian Ba, no one dared to use the power of the Thunder Calamity Realm without restraint. No one could bring such a huge threat to them. There's a hint of anger and anxiety in his voice. It seems like something big has happened. The Black Rhino sect elder's eyes flashed. He could hear Qian Ba's emotions from his voice. These sect elders immediately sent people to find out what happened. Soon, someone reported back. I see. The Qian family's young master, Qian Shan, brazenly attacked the young man with the black card. He wanted to take revenge, but he didn't expect the young man with the black card to be so strong. He actually killed all of Qian Shan's guards and almost lost his life. In the end, Qian Ba was enraged, and he came to help. Many sect elders also learned of the ins and outs of the matter. This Qian Shan is also stupid. He is the owner of the Universe Bank's black card. His status is not small. He might not be inferior to the Qian family. He has countless secret treasures on him, but he still dared to bring people to take revenge. Isn't that stupid? There's no other way. This Qian Shan is Qian Ba's only son. He was born in his old age. He's like a precious baby. He's been arrogant since he was young. He gets whatever he wants. No one dares to provoke him on Planet Buck. Now, there's actually someone who doesn't give him face and humiliates him in public. How can he take it? He's already very self-restrained for not flipping out on the spot because of the Universe Vast Seas auction. However, even that old ghost Qian Ba has personally made a move. I reckon that the black card youngster is done for. Indeed, Money Tyrant isn't the hedonistic son of a rich family like Qian Shan. He is a true almighty, an existence second only to saints. Once this person makes a move, it means that the outcome of the battle has already been decided. No one can stop it. There's no need to watch anymore. That youth with the black card is dead for sure. Everything is over. What a pity. I wonder which clan's direct descendant he came from. He actually died in this place today. Hee, what does that have to do with us? It would be best if Qian Ba slaughters that black-carded youth and draws out the clan behind him. Both sides will fight each other and there will be a good show to watch. Many sect elders were discussing spiritedly. They all believed that Xia Ping was done for. Being targeted by Qian Ba and being personally attacked by a Thunder Retribution Realm expert, Xia Ping had no chance of survival. Not to mention the fact that Qian Ba was an arrogant and despotic person who often massacred cities and destroyed countries. The number of souls that had died in his hands exceeded hundreds of billions. How could such an unruly person be afraid of the power behind the black-carded youth? This operation was bound to be a bloodbath. At this moment, where Xia Ping was, the equal domain of the dragon trapping stance had shattered. The warehouse had also been shaken into pieces, revealing an empty space. Swish! 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 Many figures descended from the sky. The leader was a middle-aged man wearing a black robe with a golden dragon embroidered on it. He looked very similar to Qian Shan. His aura was like a black hole. Standing on the spot, he had a domineering energy that could devour everything. He seemed to be the master of this world, controlling everything. Without a doubt, this was the Qian family leader, Qian Ba. He was the number one person in the Qian family and the true master of the Qian family. He was a Thunder Retribution Realm expert who was just one step away from the Sage Realm. Even in the entire universe, he was considered a famous figure. As long as there was no sage, he would be the strongest. Beside him followed 5 or 6 elders. Although their auras were slightly weaker than Qian Ba's, they were at least at the Golden Elixir realm or even the Transcendence realm. They were all the Qian family's Grand Supreme Elders. Who are you? As soon as Qian Ba appeared, he stared at Xia Ping. You dare to commit murder in my Qian family's territory, Buck Planet? You killed my Qian family's elites and even tried to kill my son, Qian Shan. Do you know that this is a great crime? You'll have your entire family killed. His voice was like that of the thunder god from the 9 heavens. It seemed to control extraordinary power. As it pressed down, it was as if he could control the life and death of billions of people. Any enemy would be scared out of their wits under this roar. This Qian family leader, Qian Ba, seemed to want to use this soul power and the difference in cultivation to crush Xia Ping to death. He even wanted to make Xia Ping kneel on the ground and beg for mercy, completely humiliating him. Humph. However, Xia Ping was unmoved. When Qian Ba's soul power pressed down, it was immediately blocked by the world tree. A green light surrounded Xia Ping's brain, making him invincible. No matter how Qian Ba pressed down, he was as steady as a mountain. What? Qian Ba and the others were shocked. According to the soul power of a thunder tribulation realm, a mere transcendent realm cultivator shouldn't be able to resist it. However, this kid was unharmed, as if he didn't feel it at all. Without a doubt, this kid must have a secret treasure that could defend against mental power. Moreover, it must be an extremely powerful one. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to resist the pressure of Qian Ba's soul power. Thinking of this, Qian Ba's eyes flashed with greed. A secret treasure that could resist a thunder tribulation realm's mental attack was rare. It might not be any lower than a saint artifact. If he killed this kid and snatched the treasure, he would definitely obtain this supreme mental treasure. However, he didn't show his inner thoughts. If you want to punish me, you need to ask what your son has done. Xia Ping sneered. He sent a large number of people to ambush me here and assassinate me. This is attempted murder. Even according to Buck Planet's laws, this is a heinous crime. He should be executed. And you Qian family subordinates rushed out one by one to kill me. In the end, you were defeated and killed by me in self-defense. You deserve to die. What crime did I commit? Hearing this, Qian Shan immediately shouted, Father, don't listen to him. This person is a thief. I wanted to befriend him, but I didn't expect him to have evil intentions. He snuck into the Qian family and stole our treasure. In the end, I discovered his theft. So, I sent a large number of subordinates to recover the treasure. Unexpectedly, he didn't change. Not only did he refuse to admit it, but he also wanted to make a false accusation. He tried to kill us, steal the treasure, and escape. He is a cruel and unscrupulous villain. Everyone has the right to punish him. Chapter 1237. Huh? Xia Ping snorted coldly. A cold light flashed in his eyes. He didn't expect Qian Shan to be more shameless than him. He actually dared to distort the truth and tried to frame him. I see. Hearing this, Qian Ba nodded. It seems that the matter is very clear. You stole the treasure of my Qian family and were hunted by my son Qian Shan. You resisted and killed the elites of my Qian family. Although I don't know which family you are from, this is a serious crime no matter where you are. Of course, I won't kill you, but you can't escape punishment. I will destroy all your cultivation as a small punishment. You will be imprisoned in the Qian family's prison for 1,000 years. Whether or not you will be released in the future depends on your family. He decided Xia Ping's fate with a few words. The reason why he didn't kill Xia Ping now was that he was worried that Xia Ping had a big force behind him. If he killed Xia Ping, it would mean that he would really fight with the other party to the death. Even though Qian Ba was extremely arrogant, he was not stupid. He would not become the enemy of a big family for no reason. This would not benefit the Qian family. However, if Xia Ping didn't die, it meant that there was still room for negotiation. He could give the other party a way out. Moreover, by destroying this kid and making him completely useless, it could be considered as showing the dignity of the Qian family. There was no more miserable ending than being unable to cultivate. For warriors, it was worse than death. It could be said that it was better to be dead than to be alive. Without power for the rest of their lives, they would be no different from slaves and reptiles. As expected, the people of the Qian family are all jackals of the same tribe. Xia Ping sneered. It seems that it's useless to say anything to you. However, no matter how glib your tongue is, you can't change the fact that Qian Shan wants to kill me. This is a serious crime. Qian Shan must die today. How dare you? Hearing this, Qian Ba flew into a rage. Arrogant kid, don't you know where you are? This is the Qian family's territory. Barker Planet is not a place where people like you can mess around. How dare you say that you want to kill my son Qian Shan? I'd like to see how you will kill him. As soon as he finished speaking, he instantly attacked. Obviously, he was enraged by Xia Ping's words and wanted to capture Xia Ping. Boom! A huge hand came crashing down, reaching out from the void. It was as if the entire Barker Planet's time and space had stopped, and ripples appeared in the surrounding space. Xia Ping saw that this huge hand was extremely terrifying. It seemed to be covered with densely packed ancient inscriptions and filled with a terrifying aura. Strand after strand, it was like the laws of the world. Under such power, any enemy would be crushed to pieces. This was a brazen attack from a Thunder Tribulation Realm powerhouse. Its strength was no small matter. It was like an eagle catching a chicken. It was as easy as catching a chicken. Stupid guy. The surrounding group of Qian family's supreme elders sneered again and again. They looked at Xia Ping as if they were looking at a dead man. He actually dared to provoke Qian Ba. If this wasn't courting death, then what was? If Money Tyrant made a move, even a few lives wouldn't be enough. Facing this terrifying attack, Xia Ping immediately took out the Sage Talisman with a thought. Immediately, the Saint's Talisman flew out from his body and floated in the air like an unparalleled star. It rumbled and spun, giving off a terrifying pressure. It was glowing and releasing a gray mist, as if Pan Gu was creating the chaos. At this moment, the entire Barker Planet was trembling as if it was shivering. The tens of billions of living beings on Barker Planet were trembling. Their souls were trembling. This kind of pressure, this kind of terrifying aura, was supreme and surpassed everything. Strand after strand, they spread across the sky of the planet. In particular, some powerhouses felt it the most. It was as if a saint had descended. Just this strand of pressure was enough to shatter their souls and turn them into nothingness. Oh my God, what happened? Could it be that a saint has descended? Many elders of the major sects were horrified. Their bodies were trembling as if they had encountered the end of the world. They were in a state of panic. Under this kind of power, they were like ants. And the Qian family's supreme elders who were close to this saint's talisman felt it the most. They were instantly pressed to the ground. Their entire bodies were like tortoises crawling on the ground. Countless cracks appeared on their bodies. Damn it, you actually have a saint's talisman on you? Qian Ba was scared half to death. Even if you beat him to death, he would never have thought that Xia Ping would have such a treasure on him. After all, even he, a Thunder Tribulation Realm cultivator, didn't have such a treasure. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, Qian Ba's talisman shattered like ice under the scorching sun. It was like it had been vaporized. Damn it! Qian Ba roared out, his face savage. A great golden blade appeared in his hand. This was no ordinary great golden blade. Rather, it was a peerless great spirit artifact, the golden Wyrm blade. It was a magic treasure that was just one step away from leveling up to become a sacred artifact. Martial Dao Divine Ability, Turtle Snake Pre-Heaven Saber. In the blink of an eye, Qianba drew on all the power he could muster to unleash a saber strike that pulsed with the power of a turtle snake, like a primal chaos elder snake. Tens of thousands of saber lights appeared in this slash, and they were vast and mighty. Every single one of them was like a long river that traversed the sky, and they pierced through the past and present, possessing the power to shatter the void. Wherever the saber energy went, it transformed into a world of sabers, a world of primordial wastelands. The entire planet was covered with saber will, and all living beings trembled in fear. It almost seemed as though Planet Barker was about to be chopped into countless pieces. At this moment, the Sage Talisman also emitted an endless light. Streams of golden light were emitted from the talisman like raindrops, piercing through the void and covering the entire area. It was incomparably sacred. Dong! Dong! The two forces collided crazily, like two stars colliding. Every time they collided, a terrifying shockwave would erupt, destroying the ground and flattening everything within a radius of several hundred miles. Even Barker City, which was far away, was affected. A large area was destroyed, and there were countless casualties. Ag! Block it! Block it for me! Qianba howled, blue veins bulging out on his forehead as he drew on all of the magical power he could muster. His skin cracked, and his blood vessels popped. Rumble. In the end, the power of the Sage Talisman ran out, and Qianba was knocked back 100 kilometers, leaving a long trail in the ground that looked like a high-speed runway. The other prime elders of the Qian clan were all severely injured, and were now covered in blood. Whoosh! Qianba half knelt on the ground, breathing in large mouthfuls of air, sweating profusely. It was clear that the injuries he received weren't light either, but in the end, he still resisted it, not dying from a single strike. It wasn't that he hadn't encountered sage talismans before, but none of them had been this strong. Without a doubt, the sage who had given this brat the talisman was incredibly strong. Even among sages, he was considered one of the strongest. Chapter 1238. This kid. Qianba stared at Xia Ping. He finally knew why this kid wasn't afraid at all even though he was here. It turned out that Xia Ping still had some tricks up his sleeves. How terrifying. But this way, this kid's background was simply terrifying. With a saint supporting him, the Qian clan was nothing. If they offended him, the Qian clan would die a horrible death. It seemed that he couldn't destroy this kid's spiritual power this time. But no matter what, he had to teach him a lesson. Although the power of the saint's talisman was shocking, the power of the saint's talisman had been used up. Qianba didn't believe that this kid still had more. Obtaining one of these treasures was already a huge stroke of luck. It was impossible to obtain a few more of them. In other words, this kid had used all his trump cards. He couldn't have more. Without the saint's talisman, he was like a fish on a chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. Die! Before Qianba could attack, Xia Ping attacked. He stretched out a finger and used his spiritual power. A terrifying flame power gathered on his finger and shot towards Qian Shan. Qian Shan, who was already in shock, didn't expect that Xia Ping would still dare to kill him at this time. He didn't dodge at all. With a puff, this power instantly entered Qian Shan's body. With an "ah," he let out a shrill scream. He was no different from a pig being slaughtered. Boom! In the next second, this power immediately exploded inside Qian Shan's body. He was torn apart and turned into a pile of minced meat. Blood flowed everywhere. He couldn't be more dead. Qian Shan didn't expect that he would really die. He was really killed by Xia Ping. If he knew that Xia Ping was such a terrifying person, he definitely wouldn't have provoked him. But it was too late. He was arrogant his whole life. Once someone dared to offend him, he would use the Qian clan's power to slaughter a city and destroy a country. Countless clans had been destroyed because they offended him. The crimes they had committed were too numerous to count. He also thought that with the Qian clan's power, no one dared to offend him and he could do whatever he wanted in the universe. Unfortunately, he met Xia Ping, someone who had a stronger background than him. Xia Ping killed him just like that. Even his father, Qian Ba, who was in the Thunder Retribution realm, could only watch helplessly as he died. "Little bastard, how dare you kill my son?" Seeing Qian Shan killed in an instant, Qian Ba's eyes almost popped out. He screamed like a wounded beast. "I said he will die today, so he will die. Even if you are in the Thunder Retribution realm, what can you do?" Xia Ping sneered. He was still not afraid. Even in the face of the enraged Thunder Tribulation Almighty Qian Ba, he wasn't afraid at all. This was because he had many tricks up his sleeves. He also had a painting from the Blood Soul Saint. Its power was no less than a saint's talisman. That attack just now had already heavily injured Qian Ba. If he were to do it again, he would probably be turned into ashes. Even if Money Tyrant was powerful and didn't die after taking a hit, he could still take the opportunity to escape. Without Qian, the clan Wuden, Shan, would to him Shan. "Damned little bastard, you killed my son. I don't care who you are, you will definitely die today, definitely die." Qian Ba was furious. He had simply lost all reason. "You little bastard, you killed my son. I don't care who you are. You will die today." Qian Ba was furious. He had lost his mind. Even if he had to give it his all, even if the entire Qian clan was destroyed, he would kill this kid on the spot. Rumble. All the magic in his body vibrated. The entire planet trembled. He was clearly furious. Even if he had to use up all his strength, he would kill Xia Ping in an instant. This time, Qian Ba would not give the kid any chance to attack. Dong! At this moment, a black hole suddenly appeared in the sky above Planet Barker. It seemed to swallow everything. Then, a finger stretched out from the black hole. All the powerful beings on Planet Barker were shocked. This finger was as white as jade. It emitted a holy light that surpassed everything. When it appeared, the universe seemed to stop. A saint has attacked." A sect elder shouted. Even his soul was trembling. This was different from the sage talisman from before. This was the true might of a sage. Even though it was just a finger, it was an attack that came from who knew how many light years away. Even so, this power was enough to destroy the entire planet. At this moment, all the living beings on Planet Barker stopped moving. It was as if time had stopped. Even Qian Ba, a Thunder Tribulation realm expert, was the same. His entire body's aura was locked, and he could not move. Because this finger was targeting him. No, no, no. How can this be? How can a saint attack? How can he be so shameless? Qian Ba was in despair. He was on the verge of breaking down. He could not imagine this at all. He merely wanted to kill a Transcendent Realm Junior, but a saint actually came to squash him to death. In the face of a supreme saint, even if he was in the Thunder Retribution realm, he was just a slightly larger ant. The difference between a saint and a Thunder Tribulation realm was like the difference between heaven and earth. Its master. Xia Ping immediately sensed a familiar aura permeating the air around him. The person who had attacked him was none other than his master, Dark North Saint. Dark North Saint had probably discovered that he had used a sage talisman and knew what had happened here. In the end, Qian Ba, a Thunder Tribulation realm expert, had bullied the weak and even tried to kill him. Dark North Saint was furious. Even though he was on Cosmos Planet, which was countless light years away, he still attacked from afar and killed Qian Ba on the spot. "Saint, spare me. Spare me." I won't dare to do it again. I won't dare to do it again. Qian Ba begged for mercy. In the face of this great power, he was like an ant. It was like the despair of a transcendent realm expert facing a thunder tribulation realm expert. He felt the same way when facing a saint. Qian Ba begged for mercy. In the face of this mighty power, he was like an ant. It was like the despair of a divine ability realm expert facing a lightning tribulation realm expert. He felt the same way when facing a saint. Qian Ba begged for mercy. In the face of this great power, he was like an ant. It was like the despair of a transcendent realm expert facing a thunder tribulation realm expert. He felt the same way when facing a saint. Now, he was extremely regretful. His intestines were turning green. How could he have thought that this kid's identity was so precious? He actually had a saint protecting him. This was too abnormal. This was unreasonable. If he had known that this kid's identity was so terrifying, he wouldn't have dared to come here even if he was beaten to death. It didn't matter if his son died. He could just have a few more children. But now, even he had to die. This power didn't care how Qian Ba begged for mercy. It was like the will of the heavens, directly crushing down. Boom! In the blink of an eye, Qian Ba's body turned into nothingness. Even the peerless spirit weapon on his body was destroyed inch by inch, disappearing into the void. Even the dozen or so Qian clan supreme elders in the surroundings were the same. All of them were turned into dust. They couldn't even let out a scream. Chapter 1239. Too strong. Xia Ping was very shocked. He finally knew what the power of a sage was. Just an attack from countless light years away could instantly turn a tribulation realm expert into dust. It was already very terrifying, but after killing Qian Ba, the surrounding ground was not damaged at all. It seemed that all the power had been focused on Qian Ba and the others. Other places were not affected at all. Otherwise, with the power of a sage, Planet Barker might even have collapsed. This degree of perfect control over power was simply unimaginable. It had reached the realm of gods and was beyond imagination. This was a saint who had transcended the mortal world and entered the realm of holiness. Yes, Xia Ping. Have you finished your mission and returned? Suddenly, Xia Ping felt a voice transmit to his soul. Clearly, it was Dark North Sage's divine sense transmission. His voice was transmitted to his mind from countless light years away. Yes, Master. I just returned. Xia Ping nodded. Micham. Come see me when you return to the Qiankuan sect. After saying this, Dark North Saint's voice disappeared. It seemed that to him, killing a Thunder Retribution Realm powerhouse was a trivial matter. Immediately, the black hole above Planet Barker disappeared. The surrounding cosmic energy also returned to normal. There seems to be treasures. Xia Ping scanned with his divine sense and immediately found an interspatial ring on Qian Shan's body. He sent his divine sense inside and sensed that there were many pills and spirit herbs inside. They were worth at least 100 million universe dollars. Apart from that, he also found a Saint-Tier's secret manual, Lightning Fist. Clearly, this was the secret manual that Qian Shan had obtained at the auction yesterday. He had placed it in the ring. He even found a Saint-Tier artifact fragment inside. Qian Shan had also obtained it at the auction, but he had not handed it over yet. In the end, it all belonged to Xia Ping. This Qian Shan is really a good person. The things he worked so hard to obtain are all mine. Xia Ping immediately felt very happy. He had obtained a great bargain this time. If they had really been auctioned at the auction, these two items would have been worth 2 to 3 billion universe dollars. Indeed, no business could compare to this kind of windfall. What made Xia Ping feel regretful was that Qian Ba and the others should have had some treasures on them. However, under Dark North Sage's power, they had all been turned to dust. Even their interspatial rings had shattered and disappeared into nothingness. Therefore, he did not find any treasures on Qian and the others. Forget it. Being able to obtain these things is already a huge fortune. I should return to the Heaven and Earth sect. Xia Ping searched around and found that there were no more treasures around, so he left this place. At this moment, no one on Barker Planet dared to stop him. Even the police were trembling in fear that Xia Ping would be enraged and kill them all. At that time, no one would dare to save them. After Xia Ping's moon god left, many of the big shots on Barker Planet, including the elders of the various sects, finally investigated Xia Ping's whereabouts. I've already found out that young man's identity. His name is Xia Ping, and he's a disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect. Most importantly, he's also a disciple of the Dark North Saint. A sect elder said with a sunken voice. For the sake of obtaining this information, he did everything he could, using the sect's intelligence network. He even took a picture of Xia Ping to compare his appearance. In the end, he finally found out from an elder of the Qiankuan sect that this generation's Qiankuan sect disciple was the last disciple of the Dark North Saint, and his status was very high. What? Everyone was astonished. No matter how imaginative they were, they completely didn't expect that this young man actually had such an identity. He was the disciple of the Dark North Saint. In the 6 major star regions, this was simply an existence akin to a crown prince. It was unknown how many times more terrifying he was compared to the Qian clan. No wonder even the Dark North Saint made a move and instantly killed Qian Ba. This Qian Ba can be considered to have 8 lifetimes of bad luck, actually provoking such a terrifying character. After killing the young, the old came. That Qian Shan thought that his Qian clan was invincible and no one could provoke him. He brought out his father Qian Ba and thought that there was no one who couldn't kill him. Who would have thought that Qian Ba's background was even stronger than his? How terrifying! Luckily, I was extremely vigilant and didn't choose to attack that young man. Otherwise, even without the Dark North Saint, just the trump cards that Brat had would be enough to kill me dozens of times. That pitiful Qian Ba. He had a very high chance of advancing to the Saint realm, but who would have thought that he would be crushed to death by a single finger of the Dark North Saint before he could even break through? This is truly a case of dying before achieving success. Stop dreaming. There is only hope. In the entire universe, there are countless monstrous geniuses who have the potential to become saints, and Qian Ba is not the only one. Even if he doesn't die now, he might not be able to become a saint in the future. However, saints are really terrifying. It is said that the Dark North Saint's main body is still in the Qiankuan faction, who knows how many tens of thousands of light years away from here. With a single attack from across space, he was able to crush Qian Ba, who was in the Thunder Tribulation realm. His strength is too terrifying. Even ordinary saints aren't that terrifying. However, the Dark North Saint is special. It is said that he once fought and killed saints of the same level, chasing them to the ends of the earth. His combat strength is not to be underestimated. Everyone discussed spiritedly. They all had lingering fears about what had just happened. The remnant might of a saint could shatter a planet. If it wasn't for the Dark North Saint holding back, everyone present would have died. At the same time, they were secretly glad that there were some people who wanted to take revenge on Xia Ping. They wanted to teach this brat a lesson and let him know the cruelty of reality. But now that they thought about it carefully, they felt lucky that they didn't make a move. Otherwise, they would have known the cruelty of reality. Let alone provoking the Dark North Saint, just the trump cards that this brat had were enough to make them suffer. The Qian clan is finished. This old man received news that the Qian clan sent people to hunt down the disciple of the Dark North Saint. The Qiankuan faction is furious and wants to destroy the Qian clan. I reckon that there will be experts from the Qiankuan faction coming soon to exterminate the entire Qian clan. An elder sighed ruefully. Just yesterday, the Qian clan was still like the sun in the sky. But today, they were destroyed. It was all because they provoked a major character that they couldn't afford to offend. Serves them right. How can they not wet their shoes if they often walk by the river? They have been arrogant and despotic for too long. There will come a day when they offend someone that they can't afford to offend. Once they do, they are finished. Another elder sneered. He had lived for several thousand years, and the longer he lived, the more cautious he became. This was because he knew how terrifying this universe was. If they accidentally offended a major character, even Thunder Tribulation Realm experts would die. Immediately pass down the order. We must not offend this Dark North Saint's disciple, Xia Ping. Pass his portrait to every disciple and have them study it day and night. If anyone dares to offend Xia Ping unintentionally, this old man will exterminate their entire clan. An elder spoke ruthlessly. Xia Ping's actions this time could be considered to have shocked many small sections. Even the Qian clan was gone. If they still dared to be arrogant, their ending wouldn't be any better than the Qian clan. Chapter 1240. A few days later. Xia Ping returned to the Qiankuan sect on the Moon God and then went to the Dark North Peak to meet his master, Dark North Saint. I see. It seems that you have gained a lot in the Blood Soul continent. After listening to Xia Ping's story, Dark North Saint could not help but nod. He also knew that Xia Ping had obtained a lot of soul stones from the Blood Soul continent this time. Of course, Xia Ping still concealed the matter of the soul race's secret spirit technique because this matter was extremely important and could not be leaked. Otherwise, there would definitely be a disaster. To a saint, some soul stones were nothing at all. It was very beneficial to ordinary cultivators, but to a saint, it was not very beneficial to his own cultivation. Therefore, even though he knew that Xia Ping had obtained a lot of soul stones, Dark North Saint did not feel much and only expressed his admiration. Master, there are countless secret treasures in the Blood Soul continent. Why has no one completely conquered this continent? Xia Ping asked curiously. Even though soul stones were not very useful to a saint, it was still a treasure land. There was no reason not to conquer it. However, many sects only sent people to monitor it and not even the saints did anything. Blood Soul Saint left a backup plan on this continent. If we saints take action, we will immediately activate the teleportation formation of the Blood Soul continent and teleport the entire continent away. The universe is so big and it will be very difficult to find it. Of course, there are many reasons behind the saints not taking action. You don't need to know about this for now. Dark North Saint did not explain too much about this. Understood, Master. Xia Ping nodded. Since this was a game between saints, it was better for a small fry like him not to get involved. Otherwise, he would not even know how he died. Right, Master, there is another very important thing I forgot to tell you. Xia Ping thought of something else. Previously, I encountered a group of killers in the Blood Soul continent. They called themselves the Seven Murders Group and they tried to assassinate me. In the end, they naturally failed and were captured by me. After extorting a confession, I found out that there was a mastermind behind this. His name was Mad Butcher Saint and he seemed to hate me to the core. Hearing this, Dark North Saint's eyes flashed coldly. Mad Butcher Saint? That old guy is not dead yet. I thought he had been hiding for so long and had already died from serious injuries. I didn't expect him to dare to appear and send people to kill my disciple. His body was filled with a terrifying murderous aura, as if it could crush the sky. Master, I've been targeted by a saint and my life has been frozen in water. Can I have some treasures to protect myself? Xia Ping blinked his eyes and stated his purpose. Previously, in order to deal with Money Tyrant, he had used a Sage Talisman and lost one of his trump cards. Although he had killed Money Tyrant, it was still a bit of a loss when he thought about it carefully. Therefore, he hoped to make up for it with Dark North Sage. You little rascal. Dark North Saint laughed, However, if Wild Slaughter Saint wants to kill you, it does have a lot to do with me. After all, he has a death grudge with me. How about this? I will give you another saint talisman, which is enough to withstand the might of a saint. If you are unlucky enough to meet Wild Slaughter Saint, you can immediately take it out. Then, I can teleport over and instantly kill that Wild Slaughter Saint to eliminate any future troubles. His tone was calm, as if killing a saint was as easy as chopping melons and vegetables. After saying that, a golden talisman immediately floated down from Dark North Saint's body and fell into Xia Ping's hand. Thank you, Master. Xia Ping was overjoyed and immediately took the golden talisman. Immediately, he felt his hands sink, and felt that the talisman weighed at least 10 tons. Every trace was like a great Tao imprint, heavier than a mountain. The power of this golden talisman seemed to be even stronger than before. If he had used this golden talisman on Planet Barker, he would have been able to instantly kill Money Tyrant and turn him into ashes. He wouldn't even be able to let out a scream. With a saint talisman, he believed that even if he were to face Wild Slaughter Saint, he wouldn't need to worry in the slightest. Furthermore, he could summon his master, Dark North Saint, at any time. If that Wild Slaughter Saint dared to attack him, then it would be enough to make that old bastard suffer. Thinking of this, he immediately felt elated. He wanted to see that Wild Slaughter Saint pee in his pants. Oh right, you said before that there is a magic treasure called the Dragon Confinement Pillar. It can use the equal domain and suppress a powerful opponent to the same realm as you. Where is this magic treasure? Dark North Saint's tone changed. From what Xia Ping had said just now, he knew that Xia Ping had encountered a group of enemies before. Among them, there were treasure refining realm cultivators whose strength was a level higher than his, but he was still able to kill them. What he relied on was the Dragon Confinement Pillar. This magic treasure could suppress the enemy's martial arts cultivation to the same realm as his own. It was extremely magical, so he was very interested in the Dragon Confinement Pillar. It's here, but it has been broken in the previous battle, Xia Ping said regretfully. Although with the help of the Dragon Confinement Pillar, he had killed a few treasure refining realm cultivators, but now that this magic treasure was broken, it meant that another trump card of his had disappeared. With a whoosh, he took out the Dragon Confinement Pillar. At this moment, the Dragon Confinement Pillar was in a broken state, and there were signs of cracks everywhere. Obviously, it had lost its spirituality. After all, the Dragon Confinement Pillar was only an ultimate treasure, and it couldn't withstand the full destruction of a treasure refining realm cultivator. Interesting. A golden light flashed in Dark North Saint's eyes, piercing through the void and staring at the Dragon Confinement Pillar. He scanned it with his divine sense, and electricity appeared in the void. What a fantastic idea. I didn't think that an ultimate treasure could actually display the power of a domain. The person who made this magic treasure is definitely a genius. He clicked his tongue in admiration. He seemed to have understood something. Thinking of this, Dark North Saint looked at Xia Ping. This magic treasure is more or less beneficial to my cultivation. Maybe I can learn something by analogy. Can you lend it to me for a while to observe? Of course, Master can observe it for as long as you want. Xia Ping expressed that there was no problem at all. Anyway, the Dragon Confinement Pillar had long been broken, and there was not much benefit in keeping it by his side. Afterward, it would be thrown away as trash, or devoured by the golden slime. Don't worry, Master is not an insatiable person. Dark North Saint smiled. After Master finishes observing it, I can help you refine a similar magic treasure. Thank you, Master. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. If a saint helped, he would definitely be able to repair the Dragon Confinement Pillar. Maybe after being refined by a saint, this magic treasure could become even more powerful. With such benefits, only a fool would refuse. If there is nothing else, you can leave. Dark North Saint wanted to observe the Dragon Confinement Pillar, so he was always cultivating. Yes, Master. Chapter 1241. Yanhuang Peak. 2 hours later, Xia Ping returned to the quiet room of Yanhuang Peak. Master, I heard that you got a fragment of a sacred tool. At this time, the tool's spirit green ox immediately appeared and looked at Xia Ping longingly. Because the mountain river pearl was seriously damaged, it very much needed the sacred tool fragment to recover. So what if I got it? It's not for you. It's the food of the golden slime, stupid ox. Corinne looked at the green ox with contempt, indicating that it was not for the mountain river pearl, but for the golden slime. Slime! The golden slime shouted when it heard this. Obviously, for it, the sacred tool fragment was also an extremely delicious food. It was difficult to part with it and wanted to devour it. Stupid cat, no one will treat you as a mute if you don't speak. The green ox was so angry that its teeth itched. It simply wanted to beat up Corinne. After all, this was a great opportunity for it to recover from its injuries. If it missed this opportunity, it didn't know when it would have to wait. In any case, the sacred tool fragment was not so easy to get, it needed a chance. If it was swallowed by the golden slime, it would be a long time before it could recover from its injuries. Master, the golden slime can evolve by devouring any metal. It's too wasteful to take the sacred tool fragment now. It's better to give the sacred tool fragment to me. If the mountain river pearl can be restored, I believe the benefits it can bring to Master are definitely greater than that of the golden slime. The green ox looked at Xia Ping pitifully. Xia Ping rubbed his chin and weighed the pros and cons. It was indeed as the black ox had said. Even if the golden slime devoured the artifact fragment, it would only increase the golden slime's power by a portion at most. It definitely would not be as helpful as repairing the pearl of mountains and rivers. Moreover, he was also very interested in repairing the sacred tool mountain river pearl. He wanted to know how powerful the mountain river pearl was at its peak. If he could plant a large number of elixirs, it would also be of great benefit to his cultivation. Thinking of this, he finally made a decision. Well, what you said is very reasonable. Since that's the case, I'll give this sacred tool fragment to you to devour. You stupid ox, it's too cheap. Corinne crossed his arms over his chest. But the green ox was overjoyed and didn't care about what Corinne said. Thank you, master. With a swoosh, Xia Ping reached out with his hand and immediately tossed out a fragment of a saint artifact. The fragment hovered in the air as the aura of the saint artifact permeated the surroundings. Strand after strand of the aura of the saint artifact interweaved like the great waves, radiating with a divine aura. Furthermore, it gave off a sharp aura, as if it could even cut through the void with a gentle slash. One could imagine that if this sacred weapon had been complete, its power would have been extraordinary. Immediately, a black bead appeared out of thin air and devoured the artifact fragment. Rumble suddenly, the aura of the great path permeated the interior of the pearl of mountains and rivers, and the surroundings seemed to overflow with chaotic air currents. Golden light shone brightly, and the tyrannical energy was integrated into the pearl of mountains and rivers. Huh? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He could sense that the orb of mountains and rivers had undergone an earth-shattering change. The originally shattered formations and marks were rapidly mending due to the saint artifact fragment's energy. The entire pearl of mountains and rivers seemed to be filled with a heavy aura, as if the power of mountains and rivers was rising. Indistinctly, a picture of mountains and rivers appeared in the void. There were endless mountains that were tens of thousands of feet tall, rivers that looked like ancient dragons, and countless plants and animals grew in these places. It was full of vitality, as if the primitive land had reappeared. Crash! This black bead seemed to have turned into a black hole, like a gluttonous beast, greedily devouring the surrounding chi of heaven and earth. It immediately formed a huge vortex, devouring everything. At this moment, the chi of heaven and earth in the entire Yanhuang Peak was surging like a storm, as if it was free. It was completely devoured by the pearl of mountains and rivers, like a whale swallowing food. Dong! At this moment, the restrictive formations of Yan Huang Peak were immediately activated, instantly covering such a phenomenon. Otherwise, such a thing would definitely alarm the other elders. Of course, the many servants living in Yan Huang Peak also knew of such a phenomenon, and all of them were shocked. But thinking about it carefully, Xia Ping was the disciple of the Dark North Saint. The reason why such a phenomenon appeared was not because he was cultivating some amazing magical power, but because he was refining some peerless treasure. This was not surprising. After a moment of surprise, they no longer paid attention to it. After an unknown amount of time, the fluctuation of the qi of heaven and earth also stopped, like the calm after a storm. The pearl of mountains and rivers floated in the space, emitting a noble pale yellow aura from time to time. Swish! Xia Ping's divine sense immediately penetrated the pearl of mountains and rivers. He found that the internal space of the pearl of mountains and rivers had undergone earth-shattering changes compared to before. First of all, the area of the space had doubled compared to before. Of course, the expansion of the area of the space was only the most basic. What surprised him the most was that the internal space of the pearl of mountains and rivers was originally a dead continent. There were ruins everywhere, without any vitality, not even plants. It was like a doomsday world. But after devouring the divine artifact fragment, the continent immediately became full of vitality. The broken continent healed, and even trees and weeds appeared. It was overflowing with greenery. There were thunder, storms, and heavy snow in the sky. It seemed that the natural climate had also begun to operate in the internal space of the pearl of mountains and rivers, turning into a real world. Even the continent was filled with the qi of heaven and earth that was dozens of times denser than before. It was equivalent to a small paradise, and it had begun to have a trace of the divine artifact of the pearl of mountains and rivers. Master, it's a pity that there is no living soil of the 9 heavens. If there was living soil of the 9 heavens, we could immediately turn this continent into spiritual land. We could grow countless spiritual herbs and turn it into a huge medicinal garden. That way, we could continuously produce spiritual herbs, the green ox said with some regret. It dreamed of restoring its former glory. At this moment, its body had also condensed and had a heavy feeling. It was not as illusory as before, like a ghost that could be blown away by the wind at any time. Even its body emitted bursts of earthy yellow light, like a mountain god that controlled the power of the earth. It's fine. If it is living soil of the 9 heavens, there might be a place that has it. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He thought of the secret base of the Red Scarf Bandits. If it was true that the Red Scarf Bandits were growing crystal rice, then they definitely had a lot of living soil of the 9 heavens. When that happened, he could go to their lair and plunder it. Chapter 1242. 2 months later, in a quiet room at Yan Huang Peak. Xia Ping sat cross-legged on the ground. A golden crow of hell appeared behind him, constantly inhaling and exhaling the spiritual energy of the world. Like a whale swallowing a long river, it swallowed a huge amount of energy into its body. After 2 months of cultivation, consuming medicinal pills such as 5 elemental pills, yin-yang pills, and soul stones, his cultivation had reached the peak of the early stage of the transcendent realm. He was only 1 step away from the mid-stage of the transcendent realm. He felt that he had touched the bottleneck, and his spirit had reached its peak. This is the time. Suddenly, Xia Ping opened his eyes. There was a sun in the depths of his pupils, and an unusual fire appeared. At this moment, the mana and divine sense in the depths of his brain were raised to the limit. Dong! Immediately, a crack appeared in the bottleneck of his purple palace from the surging mana, and it made a cracking sound. The mid-stage of the transcendent realm. Xia Ping immediately knew that he had finally reached the mid-stage of the transcendent realm. Boundless mana flowed in the depths of his purple palace, and the space in his purple palace expanded as well. The mana was like a raging river, expanding into the void outside the purple palace. After an unknown amount of time, when the mana in the Purple Palace stopped growing, the expansion of the Purple Palace stopped as well. However, compared to before, the Purple Palace had doubled in size. If someone saw Xia Ping's Purple Palace now, they would be extremely shocked. It was like a vast ocean that stretched as far as the eye could see, and an astonishing amount of mana flowed everywhere. Countless meridians and acupoints in his body were vibrating. Mana flowed out of the Purple Palace and filled his entire body, filling every cell of his with explosive power. It was as if every inch of his muscles could explode with the power to crush a mountain. At the same time, his golden crow of hell cells were also awakening. One by one, the cells melted, making his golden crow of hell bloodline even thicker, and it tempered his body. His blood was boiling like lava, and his entire body was emitting steam. Because his body temperature was so high, the water in the surroundings instantly evaporated. This kind of bloodline power also improved the 4 unusual fires in his body. Talisman of the Transcendent Realm. Xia Ping's eyes shone brightly. It wasn't just his mystic energy and divine sense that had been transformed. The talisman hidden deep within his mind had also evolved because he had reached the mid-stage of the divinity realm. One talisman after another appeared in the space of the Purple Mansion. There was a divine bird soaring in the sky, a kunpeng flying in the air, a full moon hanging high in the sky, a heavenly dragon roaring. Countless visions appeared in the Purple Mansion. If they wanted to draw the power of the 9th heaven thunder into their body, they would be instantly destroyed by the power of thunder and directly electrocuted into a charred corpse. It was unknown how many people had cultivated this lightning fist, but they had all failed. This was known as an extremely dangerous martial art, and it could be said that it was a narrow escape. Therefore, the person who obtained this secret manual sold the lightning fist because this martial art was of little value to that person. Although it was powerful, it could not be cultivated successfully. However, this was not a problem for Xia Ping at all. Because he had experienced several thunder tribulations and was struck by thunder countless times, his body had long contained countless thunder essence, and even every acupoint had a trace of thunder tribulation energy stored. Therefore, as soon as Xia Ping cultivated this sacred level fist technique, the lightning fist, it was simply twice the result with half the effort. He quickly condensed it, and also comprehended a trace of the true meaning of thunder, so he could easily control the power of thunder. It could be said that this martial art was a natural fit for him. Dong! In an instant, Xia Ping punched, and the power of thunder in his body surged, instantly instilled on his fist, and instantly burst out, blasting towards a stone tablet in front of him. Immediately, the power of thunder was like a spear, and it instantly penetrated the stone tablet made of amazing material, forming a circle, and a pit appeared. The surrounding lightning crackled, and there was a burst of charred smell. At the same time, every cell in his body contained the power of thunder, activating the cells. Xia Ping also discovered that when he used the lightning fist, it seemed that this fist technique also seemed to have the effect of tempering the body. Another day passed. It's time to return to the cloud world. Xia Ping finally ended his state of cultivation and opened his eyes, revealing a glimmer of light. He had left the cloud world for almost a year, and it was time to make a trip back. Chapter 1243. A week later. The moon god left Qiankuan's star and set off for Cloud Realm. After sailing for more than a week, Xia Ping finally returned to Cloud Realm. The journey was uneventful. I'm finally back in Cloud World. Xia Ping stood on the spacecraft. He could clearly see the scenery outside through the projection system. A huge continent floated in space, surrounded by a layer of atmosphere. Although Cloud World was not as huge as the Blood Soul mainland, it was not a small continent. It could accommodate hundreds of millions of people and was rich in resources. It could be considered a continent of life. Let's install the Skynet system first before returning. After thinking about it, Xia Ping decided to install the Skynet system first before returning to Cloud Continent. Whoosh! He immediately took out a silver-white box from his spatial ring. It was installed with the Skynet system. Master, do you want to install the Skynet system now? After Xia Ping activated the Skynet system, the artificial intelligence of the Skynet system immediately made a mechanical sound. Install, Xia Ping ordered. The Skynet system said, yes, Master. The system will automatically search for a suitable location. Beep, there is a young star 150 million kilometers away from the system. It is about 3 billion years old and suitable to be used as the power source for the Skynet system. Master, do you want to choose that star as the installation location? Its detection system began to activate. Circles of special energy spread out. Immediately, a huge starry sky map appeared in the air. With Cloud World as the center, thousands of planets of different sizes appeared in the distance within a radius of 1 billion kilometers. Among these planets, there was a huge star with flames rolling inside, emitting endless heat. Majestic energy surged out, bestowing endless life energy to Cloud World. This orange sun was surrounded by flames. Just the surface temperature alone was as high as 6,000 degrees Celsius. Ordinary spaceships would be burned to ashes if they approached it. Not bad. Let's choose that sun as the power source for the Skynet system. Xia Ping nodded. He felt that the sun was very suitable. It was close to Cloud World and could completely cover the huge barren starfield near Cloud World. Yes, Master. Lock on to Hengxing and set off immediately. Immediately, the silver-white box left the lunar god and floated in space. It immediately traveled through the void and arrived at the sun in the next second. Xia Ping received the information from the Skynet system and immediately discovered that the silver-white box had penetrated deep into the core of the sun. It seemed that no matter how terrifying the heat was, it could not burn the Skynet system. That was because it was made of great white mystic gold, a special ore in the universe. Its melting point was extremely high, and even the temperature of the sun could not destroy it. That was why it was suitable for making the Skynet system. After the silver-white box fell into the sun's core, it was like a transformer, constantly transforming, immediately turning into a huge base. Like a nuclear factory, it fused with the sun's core and absorbed the energy from the depths of the sun. Rumble the Skynet seemed to have been thirsty for a very long time. It greedily absorbed the energy from the depths of the sun and crazily transmitted it to the 108,000 satellites of the Skynet, activating all the internal components. Every circuit inside seemed to be activated, and dense ancient inscriptions appeared on it. It seemed that the Skynet system not only combined the power of science and technology, but also the power of inscription formations. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After an unknown period of time, the Skynet system finally finished absorbing the energy and was completely charged. Immediately, the satellites were ejected from the base, and with the sun as the core, they flew out to a radius of 100 light-years. The satellites were projected out like rays of light, and they could fly autonomously. In just half a day, the 108,000 satellites covered an area with a radius of 100 light-years. At the same time, they activated the concealment system and hid in the void. Even radar could not detect their existence. There were even special energy channels between these 108,000 satellites, and they transmitted information to each other. It was as if there were countless energy channels intertwined in the void. If someone could see through the void, they would see that these lines formed a dense net in the area with a radius of 100 light-years. They were everywhere, covering the void. Nothing could escape the envelopment of this large net. Amazing, this is the Skynet system. Xia Ping was full of praise. A smart watch appeared in his hand. It was one of the core components of the Skynet system, and it assisted in communicating with the brain of the Skynet system. No matter how far away it was, it could give orders. Moreover, it could also receive information from the Skynet system's detection and exploration. In just a blink of an eye, he immediately received a lot of information from the Skynet system. The construction of the Skynet system is complete. The area with a radius of 100 light-years is a prohibited area. Master has the authority to isolate or log into the virtual network. No signals are allowed to be transmitted. Through the search, there are 35 million barren planets within a radius of 100 light-years. There are 23 million planets rich in iron, gold, copper, silver, and other resources. There are 130 primitive planets that are suitable for life. Their technological level is that of a primitive society and can be conquered. There are no enemies invading at the moment. Now in low-level alert mode. As more and more information was transmitted, Xia Ping gained a little understanding of this barren star field. If it was not for the Skynet system, he would not have known that there were so many planets with Cloud Continent as the center. Moreover, most of the planets were rich in resources that could be mined. There were even 130 habitable planets. If there were too many people on Cloud Continent in the future, they could even move to these habitable planets. However, there were very few habitable planets. Out of more than 30 million planets, only slightly more than 100 were suitable for life. That's great. With the Skynet system, the safety of Cloud Realm is no longer a concern. We'll know immediately if any enemy dares to break in, and we can even easily annihilate them. Xia Ping clenched his fists as a cold gleam flashed in his eyes. The Skynet system was not only a pervasive detection system, but it was also a super weapon system. By absorbing the sun's energy as the core, each satellite could instantly burst out destructive laser energy. It could even blast hundreds of light-years away. If 108,000 satellites attacked at the same time, the power would be earth-shattering. As long as the Saints did not make a move, even a super fleet would be destroyed by the Skynet system. As soon as the enemy stepped into the Skynet system's area, they would fall into a destructive attack and die without a doubt. Chapter 1244. Cloud Realm, Flaming Huang Island. This was the capital of the human alliance in the Cloud Realm, as well as the most central area. Xia Ping did not immediately contact the human leaders. Instead, he temporarily hid the moon god and came to Flaming Huang Island, wanting to know what had happened in the Cloud Realm in the past year. After all, he had not returned to the Cloud Realm for a year. According to the speed of development of humans, there must have been rapid changes. He was very curious about this. Huh? Why are there so many monsters on Flaming Huang Island? Xia Ping walked on a bustling street in Flaming Huang Island and immediately found that the scene was different from before. The street should have been full of humans, but now there were many monsters. Even the monsters of the Oceanic clan lived in this place, coexisting with humans and shopping on this street. The humans around him did not find it strange. If this had happened a year ago, it would have been an absolutely unimaginable scene. After all, the three major races, the Human clan, the Oceanic clan, and the Demon clan, were basically mortal enemies. There was a blood feud between them, and they would fight each other as soon as they met. How could they shop on the same street? Looking at you, you must have been hiding in the mountains to cultivate. You haven't returned to human society for a long time. At this moment, an old man in a white robe walked out. He seemed to see through Xia Ping's background at a glance. That's right, I haven't returned to human society for a long time. What happened? Why are there so many monsters in this place? Xia Ping asked very modestly. In fact, it hasn't been long since this happened. It's only been a year. Such a big change has happened in just 1 year. The old man in a white robe sighed. There is no other reason for this change. It's because the Human clan, the Demon clan, and the Oceanic clan have established a world government and unified the Cloud Realm. World government? Xia Ping's eyes flashed. He asked carefully. Indeed, after he left, the leaders of the three major races had decided to establish a world government and set up 9 representatives for the sake of world peace. All the important matters of the Cloud Realm were decided by the 9 counselors. Among them, humans occupied 5 seats, the Demon Clan occupied 2, and the Oceanic Clan occupied 2. Overall, humans had an overwhelming advantage. Basically, whatever the humans decided to do, the results of the meeting would be implemented. Even the 2 major races, the Demon Clan and the Oceanic Clan, could not object. Do the Demon Clan and the Oceanic Clan agree to this? Xia Ping asked. The white-robed old man said disdainfully, they can't do anything even if they don't want to. Ever since the aliens invaded the Sky Realm, the Sea Clan and the Demon Clan, the kings and invincible kings of the 2 major clans, suffered heavy casualties. The losses of the human race are negligible. Our combat power has an overwhelming advantage. It's not something the 2 clans can compare to. Most importantly, in the past year, 150 kings have been born in our human society. Their strength has further widened the gap between the demon race and the sea race. 150 kings. Xia Ping blinked his eyes. He remembered that he had left behind 105 elements spirit fruits at most. How could there be 150 human kings? This was simply beyond his imagination. However, when he thought about it carefully, he didn't feel that it was strange. Even though the 5 element spirit fruits could help humans break through into the king realm, it didn't represent that it was impossible to break through without them. There were also many geniuses who could break through with their own strength. Moreover, according to the current rate of progress in human science and technology, they had also obtained a large amount of advanced technology from the Red Scarf Bandits. Countless researchers had been studying the effects of the 5 elements spirit fruit day and night, and they might have found a breakthrough. Therefore, for humans, breaking through to the Purple Palace realm was no longer a matter of heaven and earth. When the passers-by heard the words of the white-robed old man, they also felt the same way. Yeah, it's really too abnormal. Nowadays, kings are born like dumplings, and they are not valuable anymore. It is said that the human government has found the key to humans breaking through to the king realm. Maybe in the future, all of us can be promoted to the king realm and enjoy a lifespan of more than 1,000 years. We're really living in an era of rapid change. Kings are nothing now. With such power, the sea race and the demon race are completely obedient and no longer dare to be arrogant. How dare they still be arrogant? Now, we can increase by more than 100 kings every year, and there may be more in the future. Just the number of kings alone is enough to annihilate the 2 races dozens of times. The Sky Realm is already the territory of our human race. The surrounding people were proud and elated. When they were in the Sky Realm, they were the ones being bullied. The demon race and the sea race would slaughter cities and destroy islands at the slightest provocation, causing countless human deaths. But now, it was different. The 2 races did not even dare to let out a fart. When the surrounding sea race and demon race heard these words, they were all very unwilling, but they did not dare to say anything. After all, it was no longer the era when they dominated the Sky Realm. Now, humans had become much more powerful than them. Not to mention the advanced technology, just the endless number of human kings was enough to suppress them to the point of suffocation. If they didn't change their mentality, only death awaited them. With the birth of so many human kings, the humans of the Sky Realm can be considered comfortable in the future. Isn't that so? Now that there are so many human kings all over the world, and each king is guarding a human city, those dissatisfied demons who still dare to cause trouble will die without a doubt. Previously, there were some sea demons who wanted to plunder human ships at sea and committed a monstrous massacre. They were still unrepentant, and in the end, 100 human kings took action. Those nests were destroyed, and the entire race was annihilated. This battle shocked the sea demons. Since then, the endless sea has been peaceful, and there are very few pirates. Not only in the endless sea, but also on the continent. In the past, the 100,000 mountain range was the territory of the monster clan. Sometimes, some big beasts would ride their demonic winds to slaughter people and eat them alive. But now, they have been killed before they could even get close. Many people sighed. Compared to a year ago, the life of humans in the sky realm was simply too much better. Although there was not much progress in technology, the increase of human kings made the power of humans grow exponentially. It seems that humans are indeed developing well. Xia Ping nodded. Although he only left behind a 5 elements spiritual tree, it greatly promoted the development of human military power, allowing humans to completely become the overlord of the sky realm. In the sky realm, the power of a king was absolute. No one could resist it. High-level combat power determined the outcome of a war. Xia Ping. Chapter 1245. At this moment, the world government had a security center that was responsible for monitoring all parts of Flaming Huang Island to prevent any accidents. Once an accident happened, the police could immediately arrive at the scene. It was precisely because of the existence of such a defense system that it was almost impossible for anyone to cause trouble on Flaming Huang Island. Even if it did happen, it would be quickly stopped and would not let things get out of hand. Suddenly, a staff member in the monitoring center looked at one of the images. It showed Xia Ping's appearance. He immediately woke up. "Supervisor, there's a situation." He shouted at the supervisor. "What's going on? Could it be that the demon race and the marine race are causing trouble?" Hearing this, the supervisor immediately came over. He was very nervous because it was now the breaking-in period for the 3 major races. If they wanted to live together harmoniously, it would take a long time. If there were any conflicts, they would suddenly fight. This was also a common thing. "No, it's not like that. Look, isn't this Lord Xia Ping?" the staff member shouted. The supervisor immediately stepped forward and looked at the image. His pupils shrank. "Yes, it is indeed Mr. Xia. The people above told us that if there is news of Lord Xia Ping, we must report immediately. What should we do now?" The staff member looked at the supervisor. "Report to the 9 representatives immediately. This is the highest level of the world government." The supervisor immediately gave the order without hesitation. As a senior government official, he knew more than his subordinates. He was very clear that Xia Ping had disappeared for a year. Now that he had suddenly appeared, it was very important. It was estimated that the entire cloud realm would be shaken. After all, it was this young man in front of him that humans had become so powerful now. "Yes, supervisor." The staff member immediately acted. On a street in Flaming Huang Island. Hearing the voices, Xia Ping turned his head and immediately saw the owners of the voices. They were Yang Wei, Gao Wan, and Xiong Batian. These 3 were his high school classmates and schoolmates. After graduating from high school, his classmates went their separate ways. Since he had come to the cloud realm, he originally thought that he would not have the chance to see his former classmates again. He did not expect to meet them again at this time and place. However, when they met again, their identities, status, and strength were completely different. "So it's you guys. What a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet you here." Xia Ping smiled and greeted them. "Yes, what a coincidence." Yang Wei, Gao Wan and Xiong Batian also smiled awkwardly. They were also shocked when they saw Xia Ping. They didn't expect to meet Xia Ping again in this place. After graduating from high school, they never had the chance to see Xia Ping again. Although he did not have the chance to meet Xia Ping in person, his reputation was simply too great. His name had practically resounded throughout the entire human world, reaching a level where no one did not know of him. Putting aside his other achievements, just the fact that he was the youngest human king in history was enough to scare a lot of people to death. After hearing this news, the corners of Yang Wei and the other two's mouths were full of bitterness. When they were in the third year of high school, everyone's martial arts level was not far apart. In fact, Xia Ping was not even as good as them. Yang King, Ping, Yang Xia, and Yang, Batian, and Ping. After they had Yang, they were Yang. Moreover, they also remembered that they had some conflicts with Xia Ping in high school, and they even fought. The relationship between the two sides was not very good, so they felt even more embarrassed. If Xia Ping wanted to retaliate against them, they would have no room to fight back. Xia Ping, I'm sorry, in high school. Xiong Batian and others wanted to apologize and reconcile with Xia Ping. Before they could finish speaking, Xia Ping waved his hand. No, this is all in the past. It's just a child's conflict. It's not worth mentioning at all. Forget it. Now Xia Ping had long forgotten that little conflict. In the vast life, this kind of thing that happened in high school could not even set off a wave in his heart. Some people praised the big man, the prime minister, for having a stomach that could sink a ship. Sometimes it was not that the other party was really broad-minded, but because he stood at a completely different level from ordinary people. Things that ordinary people would be angry about were simply not worth mentioning in the eyes of the big man. Thank you. Hearing this, Xiong Batian and the other two suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Xia Ping did not hate them, they were relieved. They did not need to be restless and afraid of Xia Ping's revenge. By the way, aren't you studying at Yanhuang Star? How did you come to the Sky Realm? Xia Ping asked curiously. He remembered that it had been almost 2 years since he graduated from high school. Under normal circumstances, students of the same grade should be in their third year. Studying abroad. Yang Wei said, we passed a university exam and went to the university in the Sky Realm to study abroad, so now we are temporarily attending university in the Sky Realm. Both Gao Wan and Xiong Batian nodded. They also came to the Sky Realm in the same way. After all, if they continued to stay in Yanhuang Star, they might not be able to promote to the Master Realm in their lifetime. Only coming to a vast world like the Sky Realm could they have the opportunity to grow. I see. Xia Ping expressed his understanding, but now he had long surpassed the realm of students and reached another level. He did not need to struggle in university like them. Hey, aren't these the 3 country bumpkins from Yanhuang Star? Why are you so free today, coming out to go shopping together? Do you have money? Aren't you afraid of being thrown out by the shop owner for eating and dashing? Losing the face of our university? At this moment, an arrogant voice came. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows and looked over. He saw a group of young students in student uniforms coming over. The one who spoke was a young man with a crew cut. Hua Hao. Hearing this voice, the faces of Xiong Batian and the other two were very ugly. They felt very embarrassed, especially in front of Xia Ping. It seemed that they had been seen shameful by their acquaintances. The young man with a crew cut in front of them was a classmate of the same university as them, but the other party was born in the Sky Realm, and he was born in a big family with a lot of money. This Hua Hao looked down on people from Yanhuang Star like them. When they were in school, he ridiculed and attacked them everywhere as if they were soft persimmons to be bullied. Xiong Batian and the other two came from Yanhuang Star and had no background in the Sky Realm. They did not dare to offend such a local bully. Is Hua Hao something you 3 country bumpkins can call? Don't you know what is polite? Call him young Master Hua, understand? People from the countryside don't know the rules. A younger brother immediately jumped out and scolded Xiong Batian and the other two. Hua Hao despised Xia Ping in his heart, but he didn't show it on his face. He said, so that's how it is. You're from the same hometown. Is this your first time coming to the Cloud World? There are a lot of things here that Yanhuang Star doesn't have. You've been staying in a small place like Yanhuang Star, so you shouldn't have seen many of them. You should come out and broaden your horizons. He put on an air of seniority. Hearing this, Xiong Batian, Gao Wan, and Yang Wei's mouths couldn't help but twitch. This Hua Hao is crazy. He actually dared to say such words to Xia Ping. He said that Xia Ping was ignorant and arrogant. If this guy knew that Xia Ping was the youngest human king in history, he would probably pee his pants on the spot. But they didn't have the obligation to remind this bastard who often found trouble with them. Instead, they stood by and watched the show. Shut up, what are you talking about? Tong Xiaoqian slapped Hua Hao and then said to Xia Ping, sorry, Hua Hao doesn't know how to speak. Don't blame him. It's okay, in front of a beautiful girl like you, which man would be willing to be angry? Xia Ping said carelessly. Pretty, you, what are you talking about? I'm not very beautiful. Tong Xiaoqian's pretty face turned red and she stuttered. She had rarely been praised like this by a man. Fuck, adulterer. This is definitely an adulterer. Seeing Tong Xiaoqian's blushing face, Hua Hao was so angry that smoke came out of his 7 orifices. He felt that his childhood sweetheart was about to be snatched away by this bastard. This country bumpkin wanted to wear a green hat on his head. This was seducing his woman in front of him. By the way, what's your name? Tong Xiaoqian asked. Xia Ping thought about it. He still didn't want to reveal his real name, so he casually replied, my name is Wang Jebi. Xiong Batian and the others had strange expressions on their faces, but they didn't expose Xia Ping's lies. The other party wanted to hide his name, and they probably had their own considerations. They didn't need to expose Xia Ping. Just like his name. Hua Hao roared crazily in his heart. This bastard has great ambitions. It can be seen from his name. He probably likes to poach other people's women. He likes people's beauty and is shameless. His morality is quite corrupt. So that's how it is. It's Student Wang. It's lunchtime. Would you like to eat with us? Tong Xiaoqian made her suggestion. She felt that talking to this man was very enjoyable. Hearing this, Hua Hao suddenly became anxious. Damn it, I still want to spend lunch with this old Wang next door. This is not good. Looking at the way this bastard flirts with girls, he knows that he is a veteran. If his childhood sweetheart falls into the hands of this veteran, it will be bad. Tonight, the rice will be cooked. No, I must prevent this dangerous behavior from happening. At least I can't let this bastard and my childhood sweetheart be alone. Otherwise, he will definitely be cuckolded. Yes, let's go together. I know a new restaurant called Tavern Heaven on Earth. It is said that the food there is delicious. Hua Hao decided to act with Tong Xiaoqian and the others. He couldn't give this veteran a chance to be alone with Tong Xiaoqian. You're going too? Tong Xiaoqian looked at Hua Hao strangely. Of course, I'm going together. Xiong Batian and the others are from the same hometown as me. Moreover, it's fate that we meet. It's not strange for us to have a meal together. You don't need to worry about the cost of the meal. It's all on me. Hua Hao patted his chest and made up a bunch of reasons. Really? You're treating. To tell you the truth, I can eat a lot. Xia Ping looked at Hua Hao with a strange expression. He kindly advised, otherwise, forget it. You should have other things to do. What the hell? Even if there were other things, it was not as important as this. Chapter 1247. No, it's nothing to eat, I can afford it. Hua Hao said that he is very rich, and he can afford to pay for a meal. In that case, let's go together. Tong Xiaoqian clapped her hands and immediately decided. She also knew that with Hua Hao's family background, treating them to lunch was simply child's play. Get in my car, we can get there quickly. Hua Hao called Xia Ping and others to the side of the road and saw a black car parked on the side of the road. It has an arc shape and is full of technology. It looks like an extended version of Lincoln and can seat 7 or 8 people. This car can also fit all of them in. Wow, boss, isn't this the latest magnetic-powered sports car on the market, Phantom 3000? It is said that it has a market value of 5 million federal coins. It is a super luxury car. A little brother shouted loudly so that everyone around him could hear him. Sure enough, many people looked over and showed envious and jealous looks. A super sports car worth 5 million federal coins, it is estimated that ordinary people can't buy one in their lifetime. A house is only this price, it can be said that this is a moving luxury house. Hey, don't brag, low-key, didn't this sports car just come on the market? I asked my dad to bring me one, and it just arrived today. I just happened to take everyone to enjoy what is called speed and affection. Hua Hao revealed a humble look, inadvertently showing off his powerful background. A luxury car worth 5 million federal coins, and he was able to bring one out just like that. Just how rich was he? I believe that after such a comparison, this kid will know how exaggerated his poverty is, and soon he will feel ashamed of his inferiority and know that he is fighting with a terrifying rich second generation for a woman. It is estimated that it won't be long before this guy will know that he is a man who can't be offended. Thinking of this, Hua Hao was extremely proud. He is really a genius. He knows how to use this kind of inadvertent blow to make the enemy retreat. Not only can he maintain his demeanor as a man, but he can also show the value of a rich second generation and show Tong Xiaoqian his infinite charm as a man. This is a plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Sure enough, when they heard this, the eyes of several female companions around Tong Xiaoqian lit up, showing a look of infatuation. Obviously, they regard him as a super potential stock. Unfortunately, a tall, rich and handsome man like him doesn't like these coquettish goods. How is it? This car is not bad, right? Hua Hao casually asked Xia Ping, almost unable to conceal his smugness. It's all right. Xia Ping nodded. To him, he had driven spaceships countless times, so a mere sports car really wasn't enough to pique his interest. Indeed, it was all right. Not bad. Hearing this, Hua Hao was so angry that he almost exploded. What do you mean by not bad? This is a sports car worth 5 million federal dollars. Do you know what luxury goods are? Pretending, this brat was definitely pretending, using calm words to cover up his shocked expression. Maybe he was already frightened, or even envious. As expected of an experienced playboy. Who knew how many women he had deceived? Lying was probably second nature to him. It seemed that simple methods would not be able to expose this brat's true colors. Hua Hao quickly calmed down. He wanted to find an opportunity to expose the kid's true colors in one fell swoop. Not long after, Xia Ping and his party left on Phantom 3000 and went to Tavern Heaven on Earth. Of course, just one Phantom 3000 could not carry all of them, so the rest of them also called a few taxis. After 10 minutes, they arrived at Tavern Heaven on Earth and asked for a private room. What do you want to eat? Just order whatever you want. Don't save money for me. As soon as he sat down, Hua Hao shouted, showing a rich and overbearing look. Xia Ping flipped through the menu and said, just order a few signature dishes. It doesn't need to be too expensive. He ordered a few at random. Order your ass. Seeing Xia Ping order a few dishes, Hua Hao almost wanted to jump out of his chair and spit on Xia Ping's face on the spot. This was called ordering a few dishes at random. It was clear that he ordered the most expensive dishes. Look at this dish, glazed abalone, worth 20,000 federal dollars. The main dish, multicolored chicken, worth 30,000 federal dollars. The side dish, top-grade caviar, 20,000 federal dollars. The dessert, crystal cake, 30,000 federal dollars. The 100-year-old ginseng soup, 100,000 federal dollars. The ingredients of each dish on the list were extremely expensive. It was either some kind of elixir or some kind of fierce beast. Ordinary people couldn't afford a dish even with a few months' salary. Now, he just ordered 5 or 6 dishes casually. The most outrageous thing was that this guy also ordered a bottle of century-old wine, worth 200,000 federal dollars. Fuck, this guy was clearly using Hua Hao as a fat sheep to slaughter. The cost of this meal was almost enough to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-hall house in a 3rd-tier city. Now, Hua Hao's face turned green. Isn't this a bit too expensive? Tong Xiaoqian said hesitantly when she saw the price of these dishes. Although Hua Hao's family was very rich, it was too outrageous to eat so much for a meal. Don't worry, just eat whatever you want. If he can't afford it, I'll pay for it. Xia Ping smiled slightly. Can't afford it? Who the fuck are you saying can't afford it? Hearing this, Hua Hao was furious. He wanted to take out a few million federal dollars from his bank card and smash it on this guy's face. Hua Hao, didn't have much, but he had a lot of money. Obviously, this bastard did it on purpose. He wanted to slap his face on this meal and let Tong Xiaoqian see his stingy appearance. Then, he would take advantage of the situation and make him lose face. He could see through Wang Jebi's bad intentions at a glance. He really couldn't afford to be less on guard for even a second. No matter what, he couldn't let this bad guy Wang Jebi's evil plan succeed. Fuck, this bastard still wants to be the old Wang next door. Poaching my wall, bah, I'll make you cry later. No, this is just a small amount of money. As long as everyone has fun, it doesn't matter how much money it is. Hua Hao's heart was bleeding, as if his flesh was being cut, but he still pretended that he was not short of money. Although his family was rich, it didn't mean that he was rich. The pocket money he received every month was still a small amount. He reckoned that after the meal, he would probably be beaten by his parents when he returned home, which he hadn't seen in a long time. Thank you, young Master Hua. As expected of young Master Hua. Without young Master Hua, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to eat such good food. In that case, we won't be polite. Waiter, order the dishes. Today, young Master Hua is treating. Serve your best dishes. Yes, I'm not short of money today, work harder. Xiong Batian, Yang Wei, Gao Wan, and others all shouted gloatingly. It was rare for them to have a chance to slaughter a fat sheep and take revenge. They wouldn't miss it even if they were beaten to death. Damn Yanhuang Star Country bumpkins, you'll be stuffed to death. Chapter 1248. Half an hour later, expensive dishes were served on the table, and the box was filled with a strong aroma, which made people want to eat. Xia Ping and others were like the reincarnation of hungry ghosts, eating these delicious food. It didn't take long for them to eat and drink, and their stomachs were bulging. All of them showed satisfaction. Only Hua Hao's face was very black. He felt that after eating this meal, his pocket money for the next year would be gone. His heart was bleeding, as if he was cutting meat to feed an eagle. Even those shameless bastards wanted to open a few bottles of good wine. Fortunately, he stared at them with murderous eyes in time, so that these cheeky guys know what it means to stop. Otherwise, he would definitely go crazy on the spot and fight with these shameless people to the end. After a while, Tong Xiaoqian and a few of her friends went to the toilet. But soon after, Tong Xiaoqian suddenly screamed. What? Hearing this voice, Hua Hao was suddenly shocked. He didn't know what happened, and instinctively rushed out of his seat. The others also followed, including Xia Ping. He saw Tong Xiaoqian and a few of her friends were staring angrily at a few seemingly drunk men in front of them. They were surrounded by those men, like little sheep being stared at by hungry wolves. Xia Ping knew through his divine sense that Tong Xiaoqian and the others had just come out and were entangled by these men. They even wanted to pull them to a box to drink with them. Tong Xiaoqian and the others did not listen, and as a result, they were surrounded by them. "Little girl, what are you pretending for? I have money. As long as you are willing to sleep with us brothers, from now on, you will be able to eat and drink well, and you will be rich and powerful for a lifetime." A young man in a white shirt smiled and reached out to grab Tong Xiaoqian and hold her in his arms. "Get lost." Tong Xiaoqian subconsciously slapped the young man's face. "Stinking bitch, you dare to hit me, even my father has not hit me." The young man in the white shirt suddenly became furious. It seemed that he was completely infuriated by Tong Xiaoqian. Then he was already impatient, so he wanted to take Tong Xiaoqian and the others away by force. Bastard! Seeing this situation, how could Hua Hao bear it? He stepped forward and kicked. With a bang, the young man in the white shirt flew out on the spot, hit the wall hard, and let out a pig-like scream. Child Lu. The other companions of the young man in the white shirt were shocked and panicked. They stepped forward and helped the young man in the white shirt who was kicked to the wall. Such an unusual movement immediately alarmed the other guests, and they all shifted their gazes over. At the same time, the employees of Tavern Heaven on Earth also came over, but they were all blocked by the companions of the young man in the white shirt. It seemed that they wanted to solve this matter by themselves and did not want the people of Tavern Heaven on Earth to intervene. "Little Qian, are you all right?" Hua Hao hurried forward and asked nervously. "No, I'm fine." Tong Xiaoqian shook her head. Her face was pale, but she was still in shock. At this moment, the young man in the white shirt struggled to get up. His face was ferocious, and he stared at Hua Hao and the others like a wounded beast. "Damn bitch, how dare you hit me? You're fucking courting death. You've offended me, Lu Jie. Men, capture all of these bitches. Don't leave a single one alive." He growled and seemed to press a button on his smartwatch to send out a signal. "Lu Jie, is he the heir of the Lu family, the King family?" Tong Xiaoqian and the others' faces changed, and they suddenly thought of the name Lu Jie. The other party seemed to be a student of their school. He was very famous, but he was notorious. It was said that Lu Jie, who was born in the Lu family, was tyrannical in the school. No one knew how many girls had lost their virginity, but they were all suppressed. No one dared to provoke him. But they didn't expect to see Lu Jie in Tavern Heaven on Earth. Lu family. Hua Hao shivered and was frightened. Although his family background was good, it was at most a wealthy family. They had some money, but compared with the Lu family, the King family, it was a far cry. Offending such a behemoth would probably be a burden, and his parents would be implicated. After a while, 5 or 6 figures immediately came from the outside. They were wearing white exercise clothes and walking like dragons and tigers. All of them were over 40 or 50 years old, and their qi and blood were vigorous. They were cultivators at the Supreme Power realm. They came to Lu Jie at once. Supreme Power. Seeing the appearance of these middle-aged men, Hua Hao and the others were even more scared, and their legs were trembling. They were just students at most, and they had never seen so many terrifying Supreme Power Masters. They were simply trying to kill them. It's over, it's all over now. Even if they don't die, they will end up miserable. Hua Hao's lackeys, as well as Tong Xiaoqian's best friends, were so scared that they almost collapsed to the ground. The threat of these Supreme Power Masters was too terrifying. If the other party attacked, they would die without a burial place. They couldn't resist at all. Although Xiong Batian and the others were also afraid and felt that this was an undeserved disaster, they were relieved to see Xia Ping beside them. No matter what, the man in front of them was a king, and a mere Supreme Power Master was not worth mentioning. "Young Master Lu, what happened?" A one-eyed middle-aged man asked. They were the bodyguards of the Lu family, who usually protected Lu Jie's safety. Just now, these gangsters wanted to attack me. Immediately take them back to the Lu family. I want to interrogate them. Lu Jie sneered, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Obviously, he knew that this was a public place, and it was not suitable to make a big deal out of it. However, when he took Hua Hao and the others away and brought them to the Lu family, Hua Hao and the others would not be able to decide whether they lived or died. As for Hua Hao, who kicked him, and Tong Xiaoqian, who slapped him, he would not let go of any of them. I'm dead this time. Hua Hao regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. He wanted to slap himself. The people he kicked actually had such a terrifying background, and they were from a king family. How could he afford to offend such a person? If he had known that this would happen, he would not have come here to eat. Yes, young Master Hua. The one-eyed middle-aged man and the others nodded. They were hired by the Lu family, so they naturally had to listen to orders. Moreover, it was as easy as turning over a hand to capture a few weak college students. Wait. However, before they could take a few steps, the one-eyed middle-aged man immediately waved his hand and stopped his companions. He immediately noticed Xia Ping, who was standing beside Hua Hao and the others. His pupils contracted, and a look of shock appeared on his face. His body trembled. Xia, Master Xia, are you Master Xia Ping? Chapter 1249. Huh? You know me? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. He did not expect to be recognized here. Although he had a good reputation in the Cloud Realm, he had disappeared for a year. Coupled with his experience in the universe, his temperament had changed drastically. He was completely different from before. If one was not familiar with him, it would be difficult to recognize him. Yes, I had the honor of meeting Lord Xia once, the one-eyed man said excitedly. He could not help but tremble when he recalled the situation that day. Xia Ping was the youngest king in the history of the Cloud Realm, and he killed monster kings as if they were chickens. Now that another year had passed, it was unknown just how terrifying his cultivation had become. What the hell are you doing, one-eyed dragon? Hurry up and arrest these people. What are you doing here? Believe it or not, I will report this to my father and he will dismiss you immediately, Lu Jie roared. Lu Jie roared. He was very dissatisfied with the one-eyed man's current attitude. Shut up, idiot. Slap. The one-eyed man slapped Lu Jie's face. Two palm prints appeared on both sides of Lu Jie's face, one on the left and one on the right, symmetrical. You fucking hit me again. Lu Jie was completely dumbfounded. It was bad enough that he was hit once, but now he was hit twice. He was extremely annoyed. He felt that one-eyed dragon was rebelling. His companions and the Grandmaster were also dumbfounded. They wondered if one-eyed dragon had lost his mind. He actually dared to rebel and hit Lu Jie. I hit you for your own good. If the family head knew what you are doing now, he would probably kill you. Shut up now. Don't force me. One-eyed dragon was full of killing intent. He knew Xia Ping's true identity. If Xia Ping were to lose his temper, the entire Lu family would be destroyed. He could not afford to offend such a big shot. Moreover, he was a confidant of the Lu family. He knew from the king of the Lu family that Xia Ping's identity was even more terrifying. He was already the #1 person in the human race. Even an invincible king could not compare to him. This. Hua Hao and the others were also in a state of confusion. What was this Grandmaster talking about? Wasn't this kid called Wang Jebi? And he said his name was Xia Ping. This is crazy. Well, even if this kid concealed his name and said that he was Xia Ping, so what? It was just a name. Why was a dignified guru scared like a grandson and even slapped his master in the face? It was really too strange. Xiaping. When Tong Xiaoqian heard this name, her eyes shined and her body trembled. Now, she finally knew why she was so familiar with Xiaping. It was as if she had seen him somewhere before. If he was the legendary person, it was not impossible for him to scare a grandmaster to this extent. Huh? You're already here. Xia Ping's divine sense moved and immediately sensed that there were dozens of powerful and familiar auras coming quickly from outside, approaching heavenly earth. Rumble at this moment, an old man appeared at the entrance of Tavern Heaven on Earth. He seemed to have appeared out of thin air. But as soon as he appeared, the whole world became quiet. Everyone in Tavern Heaven on Earth felt that they had lost control of their bodies, and every cell was trembling. It was so quiet that they could even hear the sound of their own hearts. Everyone looked at the old man in a white robe in horror. They felt that the other party was like a god, easily dominating their lives. As long as his mind moved, their souls would collapse, and they could not resist. For the first time, after so many years of cultivation, they felt so fragile, like ants. Whether it was a martial arts master or a guru, they all felt the same. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. With the appearance of the old man in a white robe, dozens of figures also appeared at the door, all wearing different clothes, but there was no doubt that their common characteristic was strength, unparalleled strength. One of the 9 representatives of the human race, the leader of the giant company, the title of the invincible king, the legend of the ages, the hero of the human race, Gu Shi. Someone couldn't help but shout. Suddenly, the whole Tavern Heaven on Earth was boiling, because the name of Gu Shi was too loud. This was a legendary figure who had entered the human history textbooks. Anyone who had received 12 years of compulsory education had heard of Gu Shi and seen his name and appearance, so they immediately recognized this invincible king. Oh my god, those people are all kings, I have seen them on TV. Some people felt that they were almost suffocating, because the people who appeared with Gu Shi were all kings, they had monstrous power in the cloud realm, and their strength was boundless. Usually, they could not see any of these big shots, and they might not even see one in their lifetime, but now they had all appeared together, coming to the Tavern Heaven on Earth. They suddenly came together. Could it be that something earth-shattering happened in the human race? Otherwise, how could so many big shots be alarmed? At this moment, whether it was Lu Jia, the direct descendant of the Lu family, or Hua Hao and the others, they were all shocked, completely paralyzed on the ground. The appearance of so many big shots made their minds blank. As for the previous conflicts, they all disappeared, and nothing could compare to the shocking scene in front of them. The same was true for Xiong Badian, Gao Wan, and Yang Wei. Although they also knew that Xia Ping's identity was not ordinary, they still felt that it was unbelievable for so many kings, even invincible kings, to come, as if they were dreaming. After all, Gu Shi was a big shot in the textbooks, but now he had appeared in front of them, as if they had seen a legend. It was too incredible. Leader. Xia Ping stepped forward and greeted Gu Shi Lai. Gu Shi laughed and said, "Haha, Xia Ping, you brat, you are finally back." I couldn't believe it when I heard the news before, Gu Shi said to Xia Ping. How could this kind of thing bother the leader to come out? It's really too much. Xia Ping also knew that his whereabouts should not be hidden. After all, there were cameras everywhere on the street, and his identity would be exposed sooner or later. He did not want to hide, but he still did not expect Gu Shi to come in person. No, your business is the business of the human race, and I am looking forward to it. I wonder what you have gained this time, brat. Gu Shi looked at Xia Ping expectantly. He knew that last time Xia Ping left the cloud realm, he went to the depths of the universe to find other extraterrestrial civilizations, and it was estimated that it would take at least 4 or 5 years for him to return. He did not expect that he would come back after only a year. Perhaps something extraordinary had happened. Chapter 1250. I did gain a lot, but now is not the time to talk about this. Xia Ping admitted that he had gained a lot. Good, very good. In fact, Gu Lai could also feel that Xia Ping's aura was very different from a year ago. Compared to a year ago, it was like heaven and earth. Xia Ping's cultivation had already reached a terrifying level. He estimated that Xia Ping could be compared to him, or even surpassed him. But thinking about this, he found it even more unbelievable. One should know that he was an invincible king who had cultivated for 1,000 years and had reached the peak of the god realm. Even if Xia Ping was very monstrous, it was still too much for him to be on par with him in a year. Oh, right, what happened just now? Gu Shilai looked around and found that many juniors were here as well. Nothing much, just a gathering with some old friends and a small misunderstanding happened. Xia Ping smiled. He didn't say anything about the conflict with Lu Jia and the others. With his current status, even if he didn't say anything, his subordinates should know what to do. Those who could reach high positions in human society were not idiots. There were a lot of things that needed to be said. If everything needed to be said, then it would be too stupid. Okay, if there's nothing else, let's go. Many human kings are waiting for you at the world government. Gu Shilai nodded. To him, this was indeed a small matter. Other than the future of humanity and his own cultivation, there wasn't much that he cared about. Sorry, I have something to do later. I need to meet some human kings, so I'll be leaving for now. Hope we'll meet again. Thank you for the lunch, it was really good. Xia Ping said to Hua Hao and the others. Yes, yes. Hua Hao and the others were all dumbfounded. They could feel their bodies trembling, and Xia Ping's image was being magnified infinitely. Damn it, they were going to meet a human king later. Just what kind of status did he have to be able to do such a thing? And to welcome him, even the human hero, the invincible King Gu Shilai, had come in person. Thinking about Xia Ping's identity, they shuddered. His background was absolutely terrifying. With that, Xia Ping and Gu Shilai left. The other human kings followed and quickly left heaven on earth, leaving Hua Hao and the others behind. My heavens, just who is that young man? Why did the human hero personally come to greet him? His background is really too big. Who has such a big face? Don't tell me you still don't recognize it. That's the youngest human king in history, Xia Ping. He was the champion of last year's martial tournament and has killed many demon kings. He's very famous. So it's Xia Ping. So this young man is a human king. No wonder he's so terrifying. The problem is that even if this Xia Ping is a king, it's still too exaggerated for an invincible king to lower himself to welcome him. No, it has already been a year since Xia Ping became a king. I wonder how terrifying his cultivation has become. Perhaps he has already stepped into the invincible king realm. Impossible, it's only been a year. That's ridiculous. Even a genius wouldn't be able to reach such a level. Everyone discussed animatedly. They were completely stunned by the scene that had just happened. They finally knew what was extravagance, what was imposing manner, and what was a true big shot. It was just a meal, yet there were invincible kings coming to welcome them. This was simply too exaggerated. He's a fellow from your hometown. Hua Hao was dumbfounded. He looked at Xiong Batian and the others, dumbfounded. How come he didn't know that Xiong Batian and the others had such a powerful fellow from the same hometown? Thinking about how he had been showing off in front of Xia Ping, showing off that he was rich and had even taken out a Phantom 3000 to show off, he simply wanted to bury his head in the ground and never get up again. It was like a rural rich man showing off the tractor he had just bought in front of a world-class tycoon. He was even bragging about how powerful it was, how streamlined it was, and how the motor was even vibrating. Thinking of this, he was so ashamed that he wanted to die. This was simply too embarrassing. That's right. Xiong Batian and the others also puffed out their chests, feeling very proud. Having such a fellow schoolmate and fellow from the same hometown was simply too glorious. They felt honored. To be honest, they didn't have a clear idea of Xia Ping's status before. They didn't know how powerful he was now. However, seeing that even the invincible King Gu Shi had to personally greet Xia Ping, and that there was even a group of human kings waiting to see him, they knew that they weren't in the same dimension as Xia Ping anymore. It could be said that Xia Ping was already standing at the top of the world. He was the real boss behind the scenes who could truly control the fate of the human race. I'm sorry, please forgive me. At this moment, Lu Jia walked over with a sad face. With a plop, he actually knelt down in front of Hua Hao and the others. Snot and tears flowed down his face, and he was so scared that his whole body was shaking. He could not know Xia Ping's identity, and he could not know the power behind Xia Ping, but he couldn't not know the terror of Gu Shiping. It was impossible for him not to know the power of invincible kings. Even though there were many kings in the human race now, invincible kings were still high above and could crush everything. Not to mention Lu Jia, even the entire Lu family would be turned into ashes as long as Gu Shiping gave the order. Thinking that he had almost caused the destruction of the Lu family because of such a small matter, he couldn't help but tremble. If the elders of the Lu family knew about this, they would definitely want to kill him on the spot. He was really a troublemaker. Now, he also knew why One-Eyed Wolf wanted to beat him up. If One-Eyed Wolf hadn't recognized Xia Ping's identity just now, he would definitely have died without a burial place. Thinking about this, he was extremely scared. He actually knelt down. Hua Hao and the others were even more shocked. To them, the Lu family was a big shot that they could not provoke. They could only look up to them for the rest of their lives, but now, he was so scared that he knelt in front of them and kept begging for mercy. Moreover, Xia Ping didn't say anything harsh at all. He didn't even look at Lu Jia, but he was already scared out of his wits. This was the power of power. It couldn't be seen or touched, but it was real. No one could resist it. That's the human race's Xia Ping. He actually appeared again. Didn't they say that he left the cloud world and went to the universe? Immediately inform the king. This is a big event that will shake the cloud world. We must let the monster kings know. The monster spy in the celestial world immediately turned pale with fright. He instinctively felt that Xia Ping's return this time was not ordinary. Something that would turn the cloud world upside down would definitely happen. Chapter 1251. At the same time, at the headquarters of the world government, Xia Ping followed Gu Shilai to a large hall where many human monarchs were gathered, including Sun Yangdao, Lu Wuming, and the others. Other than that, there were also monarchs from the monster race and oceanic race. Obviously, they were alarmed by the news of Xia Ping's return and wanted to know what had happened. Leaders. Xia Ping greeted all the monarchs. He also saw Sun Yangdao and Lu Wuming, the two invincible monarchs. Let's not talk about anything else for now. If I'm not wrong, you should have reached the Transcendent Realm, right? Sun Yangdao, the leader of Aurora Corporation, stared at Xia Ping with a gleam in his eyes. What? Hearing this, all the monarchs present were shocked and looked at Xia Ping in disbelief. One had to know that 1 year ago, Xia Ping was only a Purple Mansion realm cultivator and had just become a monarch. But in just 1 year, he had reached the Transcendent Realm? If what Sun Yangdao said was true, then this speed of improvement was too frightening. That's right. Xia Ping had to admit that there was nothing to hide about this matter. At this point, there was probably no one in the entire Cloud Realm who could be his opponent. As expected. Is the depths of the universe really so terrifying? How did you improve so much in just 1 year? Although he had already guessed it, Sun Yangdao was still very shocked. He was also considered a genius of the human race. From the Great Destruction until now, it took him hundreds of years to reach this level from the Purple Mansion realm to the Transcendent realm. But now, in just 1 year, Xia Ping stood at the same height as him. It was too exaggerated. The other human monarchs, including the monster monarchs and oceanic race monarchs, were also shocked. They didn't doubt Xia Ping's words. At this level, lying was useless. It's not that the depths of the universe is terrifying, but that I am very powerful. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back and looked at Sun Yangdao. Leader, if you don't believe me, do you want to fight? Brat, you're really arrogant. Sun Yangdao laughed. He knew that Xia Ping had seen through his fighting spirit, which was why he made this request. To be honest, he was very interested in Xia Ping's current strength. After all, in the Sky Realm, there were only a handful of kings who could fight with him. Apart from the alien invasion, he had not fought for a long time. As a martial artist who had fought and killed countless fierce beasts, the blood in his body could no longer be contained. This was not a battle of life and death for the survival of the human race. It was merely a battle between martial artists, which was purer. But leader, you alone aren't a match for me. You should all come at me together. Xia Ping issued a challenge to all the invincible kings present. His tone was very calm. Together. Hearing this, the invincible king's expression changed. They had to admit that Xia Ping's talent was terrifying. To be able to step into the realm of divinity within a short span of a year was unprecedented. However, it was still a bit too arrogant to think that one person could challenge all of them. After all, apart from the 5 human invincible kings, there were also 4 invincible kings from the Yao race and the Sea race. In total, there were 9 unrivaled kings. This kind of power was boundlessly terrifying, and no one could ignore it. Leader, the universe is very big. If you don't work together, you won't stand a chance at all. With a bang, Xia Ping took a step forward, and a terrifying aura exploded from his body. At this moment, the entire sky seemed to dim. Countless stars appeared in the void, and one after another, the stars rumbled and rotated, emitting a huge aura of chaos. With Xia Ping as the center, the area within a radius of 1,000 miles could feel this power. The entire flaming Huang Island was shaking, and the people living on the island were panicking. They did not know what kind of change was happening. The kings in the hall were even more shocked. When these stars appeared, they suddenly felt a terrifying gravity that was hundreds of times stronger than before. It was as if a mountain weighing billions of tons was crushing down on them. Bang! 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 Kings below the divinity realm could not withstand such gravity at all. They were pressed to the ground like toads. In an instant, a huge human-shaped pit was formed, and even the rocks were crushed into powder. Oh my God, is this the gravity mystique that the master of the Wanyao mountain once had? It is indeed a gravity mystique, but this power is more than 10 times stronger than the mystique of the master of the Wanyao mountain. This is too terrifying. This is just the aura, and it's actually suppressing us to the point where we can't move. All the king tiers were astonished. Only now did they truly feel how terrifying Xia Ping's strength was. Before they had even made a move, they were already pressed to the ground, unable to move. It felt as if every single bone in their body was crackling, as if they were about to be crushed. Gu Shilai and the other unrivaled kings were even more shocked. Although they could barely withstand this terrifying gravity, under such gravity, their strength was still suppressed by half. Besides the divinity realm kings, all other kings retreat immediately. Retreat 10 miles away. This battle is not something you can participate in, Sun Yangdao shouted. Yes. When the kings heard this, they instantly felt the gravity on their bodies lighten. Clearly, Xia Ping had relaxed the pressure on them, allowing them to quickly leave. Otherwise, as long as Xia Ping wanted, they could only be pressed to the ground, unable to move even a step. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the next second, these kings left one after another. In an instant, they were 10 miles away from the palace, but they didn't leave. Instead, they watched from afar. After all, it was rare to see a battle between unrivaled kings. If they could watch it in this place, it would be greatly beneficial to their future cultivation. Leader, don't worry. I will try not to use my full strength to cripple you with one punch. Just come at me. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back, smiling at the 9 unrivaled kings. Among them were Lu Wuming, Sun Yangdao, Gu Shilai, and the other 3 unrivaled kings of the human race, the Rabbit Demon King, the Elephant Demon King, the Mermaid King, and the Whale King of the sea race. He remembered that in the past, these unrivaled kings stood at the peak of the cloud world like stars. As a student from planet Yanhuang, he could only look up from the ground. These unrivaled kings were like gods. However, at this moment, these invincible kings were no longer his opponents. His goal was higher and further, and the cloud realm could no longer restrain him. Little devil, you really dare to say that? This old man wants to see what you learned in the universe. You actually dare to boast like this? Don't look down on us old ghosts. The first to attack was the leader of Giant Company, Gu Shilai. He shouted and used his natal divinity, Law Phenomenon. Boom! In an instant, his entire body swelled up, growing to a height of 20 to 30 meters. He really turned into a terrifying enemy. His muscles were like rocks, and many ancient runes appeared on the surface of his skin. Chapter 1252. Law of Heaven and Earth. Xia Ping squinted. This was Gu Lai's natural ability. He could instantly turn into a giant with the power and speed of a giant. He was thousands of times stronger than a normal human. Moreover, many mysterious runes had appeared on the surface of his skin. Even though he was not wearing any magic treasures or clothes, he still possessed a terrifying defensive power. Gu Lai used this ability to turn into an ancient giant and kill countless kings of the monster race. With one punch, he could crush a 1,000-meter-tall mountain. Even in the boundless universe, Gu Lai was considered a very strong cultivator in the god realm. Come! Gu Shilai roared. This was the angry roar of a giant. It was like a thunderclap, shaking everything within 10 miles. Even kings felt their eardrums hurt, and their blood and qi churned. Immediately, he punched out. The 30-meter-tall giant, in addition to his own divine ability, such an explosive power was simply terrifying. Even a large river could be instantly evaporated by the power of this punch. At that moment, Xia Ping also attacked. But it was very ordinary. He only stretched out a finger and put one hand behind his back. He didn't even move a single step. Dong! The finger collided with the huge fist, and instantly, the 2 terrifying forces collided, giving off a sound like a nuclear explosion. The airflow trembled, and the island rumbled. The surrounding kings were all shocked because this scene was simply too unbelievable. Compared to the 30-meter-tall giant, this fragile finger would have been crushed by the giant's fist no matter how one looked at it. It would have been like swatting a fly. But this finger was like a giant pillar that blocked Gu Lai's giant fist. Even though Gu Lai used all his strength, he couldn't make Xia Ping move half a step. Gu Lai's face was red. His muscles were bulging and his veins were popping. The runes on his skin were swimming like dragons. His blood was boiling and steam was coming out of his body. Clearly, he was using all his strength. But even so, Xia Ping didn't move a single step. My God, he blocked Gu Lai's giant fist with just one finger. This is too much. How terrifying is Xia Ping's power? Is there a god living in his body? A human king couldn't help but shout. Attack! Sun Yangdao and the other kings couldn't help it anymore. They had seen Xia Ping's power. They were no match for him in a one-on-one fight. If this continued, Gu Lai would definitely be defeated. If even one of the 9 invincible kings was easily defeated, it would be a huge joke. No matter what, they couldn't let such a thing happen. Boom! In the blink of an eye, Sun Yangdao pulled out a black long sword from his body and attacked Xia Ping. He instantly used his sword Dao divine ability, the eternal luminous sword. Immediately, the entire sky seemed to fall into darkness. The long sword was pulled out, and a terrifying white sword light shot out. It was like an aurora piercing through the night sky, containing unparalleled penetrative power. Once upon a time, he had relied on this sword Dao divine ability to instantly kill monarchs. Those demon monarchs didn't even know what was happening. Just an aurora flashed in the depths of their eyes before they fell to the ground. Their heads flew up and blood splattered everywhere. Not a bad sword art. Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. This sword god art was indeed terrifying. It was extremely fast, and it was a supreme drawing technique. It could end the enemy's life in an instant. It could be called the Aurora sword art. Usually, the enemy would only see the light appear, and it meant that they were already dead. Unfortunately, it was still very slow in front of his golden crow eyes of hell. Xia Ping moved and flicked his finger gently. A terrifying force burst out and accurately bombarded the white sword light. Clang! The white sword light was smashed into pieces. Even before the force ended, waves of terrifying waves passed through the air like water ripples. What? Sun Yangdao was shocked, but the force was too fast. It was so fast that he couldn't even react. With a boom, he was hit, and his body flew out like a ball. With a boom, he scraped the ground horizontally, creating a crack that was 10 kilometers long. Finally, he smashed into a marble wall in the distance. Even this huge wall was shaken to the point where dozens of cracks appeared, and the rubble rattled. The sword in his hand also fell to the ground. The web between his thumb and index finger was numb, and blood flowed out. Birth of Tree World. Lu Wuming also attacked. He held a green scepter in his hand. There was a green gem on the scepter, which seemed to contain endless life force. With a boom, the scepter hit the ground, and he poured all his magic power into it. Immediately, with his body as the center, the surrounding 10-kilometer radius changed dramatically. Towering trees uprooted from the ground and grew rapidly. In just a few moments, the place had turned into a lush primeval forest. It was as if a world of trees had been formed. Moreover, every tree seemed to be alive, like a man-eating tree. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The branches swayed crazily and quickly extended out, like the claws of an octopus. They wanted to entangle Xia Ping's body. Once caught, Xia Ping definitely wouldn't be able to escape. Back then, Lu Wuming had used this martial art god art, Birth of Tree World, to instantly trap hundreds of monster kings. These monster kings couldn't even escape, and the 1,000 Monster Mountain suffered heavy casualties. Wood-type cultivation method. Very powerful life force, but it's useless against me. Xia Ping used the Azure the Arch longevity technique, and his body gave off the aura of the Emperor of all wood. He was like the ruler of wood, and a green god art talisman floated in the air. All the trees in the area felt the suppression of this rank, as if they had met their own emperor. The power was like snow meeting fire, melting rapidly. This was what it meant when a ruler wanted his subjects to die, and the subjects had no choice but to die. Capture him. Xia Ping waved his hand and instantly controlled all the trees in a 10-kilometer radius. He used the power of each tree to attack Lu Wuming. Impossible. Lu Wuming was stunned. Even though he had lived for more than 1,000 years, he had never seen something like this. He had clearly summoned the trees, but now they had become Xia Ping's weapons against him. This was too absurd. But before Lu Wuming could understand what was happening, the trees were like vines, and their tough branches instantly wrapped around Lu Wuming's body. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.